Draft today. What are you looking forward to? Who's your team? What do you want them to get? Obviously, Texans have a couple. Cowboys have a big pick. And Bijan Robinson may find out. From everything we're hearing, it is going to be tonight when he finds out where he's headed. Lots of draft talk today. Let's jump in. It's Chad and Zay on this beautiful Thursday. I'm Chad Hastings. I got the Cowboys shirt on. I got the Cowboys. I'm like page 27 of a Cowboys catalog today. And joining me as always is a man who will be a Cowboys fan if Bijan Robinson becomes a Cowboy, Isaiah Collier. What's up, Zay?
Tonight's the night. What up, Chad? Happy Thursday, everybody. And yeah, a lot of guys' lives will be changed tonight. It's exciting.
Whoo, man. I am so glad this thing has evolved over the years. I'm not telling you the draft wasn't cool when I was a kid. It was, but it was all lumped together. They used to do everything on a weekend. It was Saturday and Sunday, and it took forever. Forever. Like the first round used to take 11 hours.
Oh, hell no.
As I'm growing up. It was nuts. How long? Because they would go 15 full minutes between each pick. And every team would take every bit of it. Then you added commercials, and it was crazy. But I loved it when they went to this Thursday night idea. We get the first round. We get to digest it all tonight, come back tomorrow, discuss it all, try to figure out what happens, and then move on. So it is a big day. Let us know what you're thinking. The NFL draft, a truly unique experience. And remember, get out to the Pluckers location of your choice tonight. We're going to be out there for the Pluckers draft party. I cannot wait. I'm going to be hanging out over at the 183 location, my favorite Pluckers location. Zay is going to be hanging out with all you folks at the Lakeline location. You ready to roll tonight, Zay?
Always, baby.
Yeah.
It's my third time doing this, actually.
There you go.
Yeah, I always have a blast doing it. Shout out to Pluckers for always partnering with us, and yeah, it's gonna be a good time. See somebody already on the Specs text line going crazy. Zay, it's an easy effing decision. America's effing team.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
There you go.
We'll
But
see.
For Zay's in that category of kind of feelings up for grabs. He's a Longhorn fan. He loves him some Five. He loves Bijan. Now here's the question I haven't asked yet, Zay. Are you willing to give your fandom pretty much anywhere Bijan ends up?
Yep, so I could be a Eagles fan just like that.
Ooh.
Just like that.
See?
Coming in here, rocking the fresh Randall Cunningham throwback jersey or a Bijan Robinson jersey in a throwback edition.
Ooh.
Either or, I'm good with it.
You're saying you could go Green Birds, you could go Dirty Birds, you could go Detroit. You'll go wherever he ends up.
Wherever Bijan goes, I'm going.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of fans like that, especially if you are born and raised Longhorn fan, but you don't necessarily have like a hardcore connection to the Cowboys or maybe even the Texans or whatever. I've always said, man, when you're born and raised in the Austin area, Central Texas, your teams, you can do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. You're not trapped like I am. I'm a Dallas area kid. I can't root for Houston teams. It makes no sense.
Yo, I know.
Houston area people can't root for Dallas teams.
You're right. I hear you. I know guys that are still fans of the Tennessee Titans, and VY hasn't taken a snap in over 10 years for them.
Exactly. Yeah. And that can happen too. Your college feelings can be so strong, it'll make you an NFL fan when you didn't even expect it.
Yeah. Now, it is a little bit different because Vince Young and Michael Griffin, both played for Tennessee around the same time. So it was a little extra love for the Tennessee Titans. Like, my brother was a huge Titans fan because of that also, and him and Mike are very close, but still I could see it that way too. But yeah, that one guy that you've been a fan of in college your whole career, I think my mom is still a fan of the Colts because she loves Peyton that much.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
It can happen. It can happen. Somebody says, so he's going to be an Eagles fan? Yes, and Zay just confirmed that. Somebody else says, I love number 5, but even he couldn't get me to root for the dumpster fire Cowboys. Whoa, all right.
Damn.
Shots fired. See, that's sometimes what you have.
That's some serious hate, but I respect it.
Somebody says, never go full Aggie and never go full Eagle. That's nice. All right, so a lot of stuff coming in. Somebody says, our man Chris Bennett says, I loved watching the draft all day Saturday and Sunday. I think 2009 was the last draft before they went prime time. It was just too much for me, CB. I couldn't do it, man. So back in the VCR days, I would record a lot of it, try to fast forward through some because it was such a commitment. You had to commit like the entire day, night. Oh my God, it was crazy. So I'm just glad we've separated things a little bit. They're in Kansas City tonight, if you didn't know. And again, we're headed out to the Pluckers locations here in the Austin area. We're gonna have a lot of fun, and we'll bring you the Cowboys broadcast. The official Cowboys draft broadcast starts at 6:00. You'll hear every single pick, including the Cowboys, and you'll hear the first communication between the Jones family or Coach McCarthy and that first pick that the Cowboys make at 26 or wherever they make it. It's an emotional moment, Zay. When that first phone call comes in, this is Jerry Jones of the Dallas Cowboys. Are you ready to be a Dallas Cowboy? And then the guy passes out, wakes up, and then Jerry makes him a Cowboy.
Yo, I just saw Micah Parsons' draft video and how hype he was to put that star on. And,
how great was that?
Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's one of those things that I love about the draft. There's moments like that where guys realize, man, I've been working my ass off for this moment, and now it's coming true. And we know it doesn't pan out for everybody, but hey, it's the start of something that could be really special.
Yeah, and then, in June it's going to come up again with the basketball side of things, but that's what I love about it too, man. Everybody, they get dressed up. You got family members there. You're wherever you are. Now with the Zoom technology, they can be all over the place. But to realize that dream, might be a team you thought you'd become, but like we talk about with the recruiting side, in recruiting, you get to choose. There's that last moment where you get to pick. We're talking about it in the flex segments right now, where all these cats from around the area are trying to figure out, where do I want to go? But tonight is about who takes you. It's one of the weirdest job situations for big time athletes, but it's chosen for you for the next 4 to 5 years. Kind of like the recruiting thing, but It's chosen, and that means your city is chosen, the community. You hope it's a community that will embrace you. You'll embrace it. You'll embrace those people, and you'll start learning things, and then you have to go and find your house and do all that. But all that happens tonight, and barring something crazy, it will happen for Bijan Robinson, and some NFL team is going to get one of the best guys we've ever had a chance to cover around these parts. And obviously he's a damn good player too.
Yeah, with Bijan Robinson, everybody talks about the value of a running back, as they should. I get it, but he's a special player. He's not like every average running back. And you think about him coming on that next contract 5 years from now and seeing what happens, whatever team he's on, most likely he'll deserve more money than what he, got during his rookie contract over the course of that 5 years. But you're not going to have to worry about him wasting his money. Like, Bijan's the type of guy, depending on the situation, he might take less money due to wanting to play with more talent and wanting to extend his career and play on a really good team, and knowing that 10 years is very rare for a running back. So maybe playing on a good team instead of going to get the Austin Eckler route. You see where he's at right now.
Yeah.
I could see somebody like Bijan Robinson doing that. We're not going to have to worry about him having like a Vince Young moment. Sorry, Vince, but you are an example of what not to do off the field. I hate to say that, but it is what it is.
VY, that's cold.
What do you mean it's cold?
It's cold,
it's
VY.
real. It is real.
It might be real, but it's cold.
It is real. I feel like he should be he's always on campus and stuff. He should be letting those guys know, hey, don't be like me in this way.
And I'm sure he does.
Like, he owns up to it. Like, she should own up to it. It is what it is. But you won't have to worry about Bijan Robinson with those problems in any way. I bet you he has a lot of this NIL money stashed up. It. So, whoever picks him tonight, they're getting a very, very classy dude.
He's probably the only person ever to safely drive a Lambo.
For real.
Right? He might be the only guy. He might be the only guy in his age group that's ever bought a Lambo and not driven it into a wall somewhere.
Yeah.
Just absolutely crazy.
He probably didn't drive it much. He probably just showed it off for appearances.
Okay, so here's the thing. This wouldn't be for you, Zay, because, again, you've already said your fandom's up for grabs wherever he ends up. Did you catch some of the things he's been saying about the Eagles last couple of days?
Yeah.
A couple of those little details that he's throwing in. Yeah. So he went to, it's weird, the two teams. He went to the Eagles and the Bucks. So the Bucks pick around 18 or 19, something like that. And he visited both of them recently. When he was asked about the Eagles, he mentioned how great everybody was. And 2 different interviews, he mentioned the janitor Did you hear that?
Yes, yeah.
The janitor.
Yeah, like you chopped it up with the janitor. He was cool.
All the people that hung out at Big 12 Media Days the last couple of years and got to see Bijan, there was this thing that would come out of it where people go, wow, he has this way of making you feel important when you're nothing. Like, he's the something, but he'll make you feel important. So I can only imagine, what did Bijan see in the janitor? What did he find out about the janitor, about him or her, and to make him remember it and say it to 2 different interviews? That's crazy little detail stuff, but it also, as a Cowboys fan, has me worried. Because if he's mentioning the janitor, that might tell me he really enjoyed his time with the Eagles crew.
Yeah, they asked him what quarterback he would love to play with, and he said Jalen Hurts.
Right.
They asked him, like, if you
No
don't have
Mahomes.
to choose Patrick Mahomes,
Right.
yeah, who would you choose?
With no
And he
Mahomes.
said Jalen Hurts, and it's like, yeah, that ain't good, Cowboys fans.
That didn't
That
sound
ain't
great.
good, because he could have easily said Dak. He could have said Dak Prescott, but
That didn't.
He didn't.
It didn't sound great. So yesterday we had a guest, and I can't remember which one it was. I can't remember if it was Justin Wells or Chip or if it was Joe DeLeon. One of them said they feel like 2 teams are poised to get to true greatness, Eagles and Bills, if either one of them got Bijan. I'll extend it with one other team and one other guy. I think if the Eagles, Bills, or Bengals end up with a badass running back tonight, a lot of things could change. So I'm going to put Gibbs in the discussion too, because I saw a mock today that had Gibbs going to Cincinnati late in this round tonight. Think about that
At
for a second,
28?
Zay. Think about that.
that's a good
With
get.
what they're going through with Mixon right now, where they may have to decide, you know what, we're going to have to let this thing go.
Yeah, P. Ryan, he's gone.
We're going to finally have to just, with all that receiving talent and with Burrow, if they added a talent like Gibbs, and then you take the Eagles and Bills, now that I don't think I'm with everybody else. I don't think Bijan lasts all the way to 27. That's where the Bills would pick. So if the Eagles end up with Bijan, and if one of those other 2 teams ends up with Gibbs, I think those 2 teams really take steps forward, assuming, I don't know what kind of guy Gibbs is in terms of a locker room guy or whatever, but I'm assuming Nick Saban, would tell us. I'm assuming he's a decent enough guy.
Yeah, I don't know if he's chopping it up with the janitor or anything.
Right, exactly
but
right.
He's probably a good guy.
But again, if there's one thing we've learned in hanging out around Bijan a little bit, you cannot expect anyone to be Bijan. That is a huge high bar in terms of the personal side of it. So I'm interested tonight when we talk about it, and we'll get your thoughts today too from the fandom. What is it you're most interested in tonight? Is it a particular team? Is it a particular player? If you're a Longhorn fan, I'm assuming it would be Bijan. But for me, Zay, it's running backs. It's a position that everybody likes to dog, but it is a position this year that's getting a little extra attention. I want to know if we get out of tonight and 2 running backs go, and do they go to really good teams? Because then I think that's danger for everybody else that's rooting for playoff level teams.
Yeah, and there's some pretty good running backs, after Bijan and Gibbs. The UCLA guy, he's solid. I think A-Chain's going to be better than you think.
Do you?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I think his speed, he's going to be a difference maker, but
You
just
think-
like everybody
yeah.
else, it depends on what squad he goes to. And I think the underrated guy on the running back side is the Tulane cat, Tajay Spears.
Yeah.
When he showed out against USC, even though USC's defense is pretty mediocre, that's still not a Power 5 crew doing that to you.
Mhm.
And he was very impressive all year long. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. I don't think he's going to get selected tonight, but he's going to be a guy that I think could play for a long time in the league. So, yeah, it's interesting. The running backs, Roschon Johnson, where's he going to go? I see people got him all the way, in the double digits as far as the rankings go for running backs. And then we talked about earlier, there's people that got him in the top 5 for running backs, which you always got to remember, he did not take a beating like a lot of these guys did during their collegiate career because Bijan Robinson was that main guy. So Roschon's going to come in very fresh and very mature.
Yeah.
And that's what you got to love about a big back of his type.
Yeah, and back to the kind of comparisons and stuff for you. And again, I just may be too close to it because I've watched him so much. For you, is A-Chain the 3rd best back in this draft? Is he right behind Bijan and Gibbs? Because I think I'd slot him down just a little bit from there.
So you like the UCLA kid?
I tell you, The one
How do you
guy,
pronounce his name, by the way?
Charbonnet,
Charbonnet.
Zach Charbonnet.
Sound like some wine.
Let me put it this way. One of these guys I'm seeing on ESPN has it ranked this way. Bijan, Jahmyr Gibbs, Zach Charbonnet, Roschon Johnson, and Devon Achane. I think if you give me a choice at a moment in the draft, again, when you get to the draft, this is not about school colors anymore. This is about NFL. This is about who's the best player. I think I'd take Roschon
Right.
over Achane because I get a bigger, more physical back. I think he's more versatile and he can give me more options, a little more modular. If I know, I'm not knowing exactly what my NFL offense would be, I think I'd lean that way. And I love Chain to death. I love the fact that he ended his career the way he did. I'll never forget him. He gutted it out that LSU game, came back, rehabbed, and kicked LSU's butt in a way I didn't think they were going to do. That was awesome. I just am not sure if he's a versatile, every down, badass NFL running back.
But was Jimbo using them the right way? Like we know that was talked about all year long how ancient and dated Jimbo's offense was. That's why they had to bring in old boy. So was he being utilized like he should have?
That's a fair question. And to the teams that end up with Bijan and Roschon, we could tell them about that too.
For sure.
Hey, you guys know what you saw in film? They didn't give him the ball enough. They needed more. Zay, how many times he touched it against TCU?
12.
Yeah. How many receiving targets did Bijan have against Bama? Wasn't it none?
Oh, wow.
Was it 0? I think it might have been 0 in the second half or whatever the number was. So that's an interesting point too. Because, coming out of that Jimbo offense, there's always the clunky factor of, what did you really use things? Obviously, the last game was big time.
I say he overperformed.
The last game is big time for him, and then what Achane did at the Combine is huge.
Yeah.
He went, showed up there and went freaky. He's going to be one of the names we think of. I dig Kendre Miller from TCU.
Me too.
I think that's a good running back in the NFL if you put him in the right spot.
Yeah. I wish he would have played in that national championship game because they would have got beat by 30 instead of 70. But, he's a tough guy, man.
He
had that huge breakout run when Tennessee came down here in that 17-10 win for the Horned Frogs. But, I think he's one of those underrated guys, just like my man out of Minnesota.
Ibrahim.
Yeah.
I see him slipping down lists, too.
It must be the injury problem.
Yeah.
I feel like he got hurt at one point of his career and then came back strong, but they did use him a lot. Like, that's a guy that's going to come in a little battered.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, he's a Big Ten running back in every way. They really used him. This text just came in on the Specs text line, 337-3776. Zay, this one may be a little bit of a cynical approach. It says, he did not meet the janitor. The answer is scripted.
Oh,
I don't know. It's Bijan. If you follow up with him, see, I would follow up. I'm the idiot that would follow up and go, Bijan, that's crazy you would mention the janitor. What was it about that interaction that stood out? And then I'd catch him if he lied.
Yeah.
I think Bijan would tell me. I think Bijan would be like, we talked barbecue sauce. It was the weirdest thing. I happened to be eating. I had just gone to a famous barbecue place up there.
Trying to put me on
in
game
Philly.
on cheesesteaks.
Exactly right. We were talking Geno's. I went to Pat's.
Yeah.
And he's a Geno's guy. So we started talking cheese. I bet he'd have an answer. I bet he would. I don't think that's scripted.
No, I don't think so either. You haven't heard anything bad said about Bijan Robinson ever. So I'm not buying it either.
All right, so how about this? Even if Cowboys fans' hearts get broken and Bijan becomes an Eagle, somebody texts Roschon to the Cowboys, 3rd round. Let's go. Come on now. Huh?
You like that?
It's a good all-around back. Yeah, no, I would enjoy that. I'm interested to see what Mike McCarthy means by run the damn ball because we have yet to see him call a play as an offensive coordinator when he's not snapping the ball to that guy wearing 12 in Green Bay. I mean, think about that. It changes everything you do. You're snapping the ball to one of the greatest, just pure quarterbacks I've ever seen in my life. So the idea of run the damn ball doesn't make much sense. But he's declared that for these Cowboys. So when he thinks of it, who do you want to hand the ball to? Now, that would bring up the next question with Roschon. Is Roschon, we know Bijan is Roschon an every down workhorse back in the NFL? Or is Roschon a specialized running back in the league?
I think he's a committee guy. you're gonna have to pair him with somebody else.
Yeah, I think
to
so
be
too.
productive, like a Tony Pollard. But how is he gonna bounce back from an injury? And then Malik Davis, how much do you believe in him? I think Malik Davis could give you a little something.
Yeah.
Now, I still think they need a running back in this draft.
Yeah.
And
I will tell you, as a fan of a team that he was just on, when he's right and healthy and you block for him, Ronald Jones not bad.
right.
That's not terrible running back. So, but then if you're a Cowboys fan, is that enough? Would that be enough of an idea if we get out of this draft and that's the idea? It's Roschon added to what the Cowboys have. What would you think? Let us know. 337-3776. Draft night is coming. We'll talk a lot of draft today. Jeff Howe, horns247.com, will jump in at 105. He's a Cowboys fan like myself. We'll get his thoughts on Bijan and where he's hearing Bijan could end up. Is he worried about that Eagles thing like I am? Coming up, though, let's talk some NBA as well. Great stuff again last night. 2 series come to an end. Memphis stays alive, and Golden State got a big win. Plus, coming up in the crap bag at 12:45, Longhorn fans, let's get them out there. Those draft numbers for the Longhorns that will change tonight. Probably. This is The Horn. All right, this is Chad talking sinus and snoring specialist. Around these parts, when that weather hits, there's like 2 kinds of sleeping in the rain. There's sleeping in the rain when you know nothing is dangerous, and then you can get a good night's sleep. Then there's the worry sleeping in the rain, where you can't really get to sleep. I hope you got the calm one last night and were able to sleep really well. But if you're not sleeping well because of other issues, because of sleep apnea, because you know you're snoring, somebody in the room might be snoring, maybe it's allergy stuff, maybe it's sinus issues, maybe it's all of it, sinus and snoring specialist can help you out. Get on in there. You'll meet Dr. Slaughter in the first consultation. He prides himself on that. You will meet him at your appointment time. He prides himself on that as well. And remember, he's got surgical and non-surgical options that others just don't have. This isn't cookie cutter stuff. It's not just if this, then this. There's a lot of different things there. I've told you about different people in the office that have gone to sinus and snoring specialists. I have yet to hear one person that has the exact same situation that I had. And that kind of makes me feel good about the versatility that they have at Sinus and Snoring. Call and set up an appointment today, 512-601-0303, or go to sinussnoringent.com. It's Sinus and Snoring Specialists. Feel clear, rested, and healthy.
Chad and Zay.
Okay. Like where you're starting here, Zay. This just sounds right up my alley. Give me a vocal here. No, we're building.
Yeah, 5-minute song. It might take a while. We all know how this goes.
Oh, we are building. We're building it up. Oh, goodness. All right. Kind of has a Scorpions feel to it at that point without hearing a singer. Nope. Not Scorpions. Oh, jeez. Wow. I do not know. I have no guess.
Merciful Fate.
Oh, if it's Merciful Fate, that means this is King Diamond singing, I think.
A Dangerous Meeting.
Now, Merciful Fate might have had other incantations, if you will, that didn't have King Diamond, but I think King Diamond was the lead singer of Merciful Fate. All right, Merciful Fate gets us started. What's it called again?
A Dangerous Meeting. So you're not messing with this? You don't like the voice here?
No, if it is the King had an incredible voice. King Diamond that falsetto of his was on another plane.
Yeah, I like this voice.
But thematically, this band would have gone a little more consistently darker than I wanted to go.
Okay.
Just a little more,
Yeah.
Like I couldn't have every single song be about doesn't the world suck and everything's awful and it's terrible and demons and like, all right.
Yeah, I'm looking at the cover. It looks like Satan with a Kawhi Leonard finger pointing at somebody.
Right. Yeah. I didn't mind a band that would kind of dip into the satanic discussion. I didn't need you to live there. I didn't need you to live. Either way, right? Either way, whether it was the demonic side or the angelic side, you can dip your toe. Don't live there. Because if you live there, I get tired of it pretty fast. So I wasn't into Stryper for that reason. Stryper went all the way to the religious side. All the way in. And I'm like, oh, fellas, you put it. Oh, never mind. Too far.
Yeah.
But that's cool for their fan base. Just like Merciful Fate's fan base. They wanted to show up and be, all right, the world sucks. Let's go. I just can't do that for 2 hours. I can't do it for the whole show.
Oh, I get it. I'm a positive person. I couldn't do it either.
Yeah, you gotta find the balance. Got to balance it out a little bit. That's, to me, back to the world of like hip hop. That's what was so great about Public Enemy. You were getting all this wonderful topical stuff, and then you had to smile when Flavor Flav hit the stage.
Yeah,
like you were forced into it almost. It was crazy, and there was some metal bands I could say that about too. Merciful Fate starts us off today. It's NFL Draft Night. Remember, Rod and Harge are going to be out at the Link location of Pluckers to get everything started. They'll be previewing the draft and everything that they're hearing, all the latest rumors and mock drafts and everything. Then Harge is going to be staying at the Link location. We mentioned it earlier. Zay's going to be at Lakeline. I'll be hanging at 183 with our man Ty Henderson. Ty's going to be running the show out at 183. Real simple. You show up, and if you want to, you sign up to pick for a particular team or a particular pick if it's your favorite number or whatever. And if you get the pick right, all you have to do is let Ty know, let Zay know, whoever's there at the microphone, let them know before Goodell says it. And as long as you get it right, the entire place gets a special. So it's a lot of fun at the Pluckers Draft Party. Come on out and see us tonight, hornfm.com, for where everybody is going to be tonight. Also, Zay, before we get back into NBA stuff and any other sports stuff, let's see if we can do this in a respectful way, because normally it was a little more fired up. So maybe it needs to be a Jerry.
Oh, what a guy.
Rest in peace to Jerry Springer. That broke my heart when Craig Way told me that earlier today as I'm driving in.
It does hurt. He's an absolute legend.
Dude, I love that show.
It's one of the best parts of being sick as a kid, knowing I get to watch that at 10:30 in the morning.
You know what? That's not where I did it. Vacation. Me and my wife, and then later me, my wife, and my daughter, we get to the hotel, get to the resort, get to wherever we were getting to. Whoo! And Jerry Springer. Reruns of Springer. We'll do some Maury. We'll do some You Are Not the Father.
Yeah.
But if we could find some good old Springer, that was the best. That was the best. I loved it as a vacation. You know, you just want to let your mind get away, and you want something mindless, and that's exactly what Jerry was. It was a completely bizarre, in many ways awful show, but it had its place, and it's given us so many different things, from the Jerry chant to a lot of other things. So rest in peace to Jerry Springer. Godspeed, sir. You are that show is as unique as it gets. Nobody's ever going to do that again.
No, you can't. 2023
Nope.
beyond, you can't get away with that. And yeah, R.I.P. He was a GOAT in his own right. You have a favorite episode, favorite moment?
Honestly, I'm not as much of a Jerry Springer, devotee that I could tell you there's one episode. I just, I dug the conflict.
Yeah.
And particularly I loved the episodes
like
where,
little people fighting and stuff, or big women wrestling in mud and stuff like that.
Actually, my favorite genre, let's go genre.
Okay.
My favorite genre was Love Triangle.
Classic.
Where the people were as hillbilly, mountain, or country as you could get. That was my favorite. Love Triangle. Families, friends, whatever. And when the person could be just, not couth, not no manners. Like the less manners were better. So then when that third person came out, immediately there was screaming and yelling and hollering and, why are you with her then? And then it was just great.
Oh, you have to be on another level just to accept being on that show, because you know what it's about and what they might do to you. Who knows what was going on backstage and how they liquored them up and stuff like that to get them to act crazy. But I'll remember this episode, my favorite episode. I'll never forget it. When Love Triangle.
Oh, yeah.
They were fighting over a woman. How did we settle this, guys? Let's play one-on-one basketball game outside in the parking lot.
Oh, that's fantastic.
On a rinky-dink-ass goal in jeans.
Nice.
Playing to 5. I want to say the goal was about 5 or about 8-7, 8-9. Wasn't regulation.
Oh, my God.
Wesley Snipes, white man can't jump. Is this regulation? Woody Harrelson, this is regulation? It's not regulation.
Tell me there was a chain net. Was there a chain net?
No, wasn't a chain net. Too dangerous.
Okay.
But they were dunking and stuff. It was intense.
Did they film in New York or Chicago, or where'd they film?
Chicago.
It was Chicago.
Chicago.
Okay. Oh, my God. See, that's
and his
great.
Bodyguard had a knockoff show, which was basically the same thing, Steve.
Yeah, Steve-O. They chant Steve's name and stuff. It got watered down real fast. It got old for me kind of fast, but just the fact that it existed. There was some comfort to the fact that show existed. So rest in peace to Jerry Springer today. Tonight is the NFL draft. And if you look at the NBA schedule, they are staying out of the way. In fact, we might have gotten no games tonight had Boston handled their business, but it's going to be Boston and Atlanta back in Atlanta tonight, 7:30 on TNT. But last night, Zay, we saw 2 series end. The Heat and the Knicks finished it off. I think we probably should start with Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat. Holy mackerel. You talk about a crowd that was not ready to lose. That Milwaukee crowd, they got drawn into a trap last night, and then Jimmy Butler sprang it for them.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe it. It all starts with Giannis getting injured in the first game. That set them back completely. And then moving forward, Tyler Hero, he got hurt too, but they don't equal each other out. They don't.
Right.
Because we've seen that there's guys off the bench, which Miami and Pat Riley's one of the best front office guys in the history of the game. From bringing guys in that maybe aren't drafted, maybe aren't a 5-star coming out, like Gabe Vincent, Max Strus. Who are these guys? Gabe Vincent went to UC Santa Barbara. Max Strus transferred from, I want to say, Liberty to DePaul. Wow. Like, these are random dudes.
Vincent looked good last night.
Vincent looked like the man last night.
My God. 22?
Yeah, hitting big-time threes and clutch time. And for the Bucks, you're up by 12. And Spo, he just completely outcoached Budenholzer the whole entire series. Again, yes, we know Giannis is hurt, and him going 10 for 23 from the free throw line, that can't happen. You're one of the best players in the league. We know he's always had free throw issues from taking too long on his attempts. Then now, whether it's his back or the moment's too big, I don't know. You can't miss that many free throws and expect to win that game. You just can't.
If he'd been on the road, they'd have counted they'd have started counting again.
Yeah.
He's lucky he was at home. By the way, you mentioned Budenholzer. Remind me, Zay, you watch more basketball than I do. When did the NBA make that rule that if you're the number one seed in the playoffs, you're not allowed to call timeouts? When did they make that rule?
You have time. You have Giannis. He's one of the most athletic. You just throw it at the rim and see what happens. They did it to you.
I was about to say, Butler just proved what can happen in a little bit of time. He's got a timeout there and didn't call it, but now go to the end. He ended up with Grayson Allen flailing away, trying to find something, and they didn't even get a shot off. He had a timeout there.
Such a joke.
Where's that timeout? They could have crossed midcourt with 7 seconds, I think it was. 7 or 8? Get your TO, calm down, figure out what you want to do. And he didn't call a timeout in either spot.
Yeah, it's an absolute joke. And Giannis talking about like the season wasn't a failure. Yes, it was. I get what you were trying to say. We could play the audio later.
Right.
But I get what he's trying to say. People got to remember this guy, he's from Greece. He came from poverty. He got it from the mud. So coming over here, like life's incredible for him. He never thought he would be in this place. He's won a championship before. He's won MVPs, Defensive Player of the Years. So, you know, he doesn't necessarily have that Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant mindset. Like Kobe, his dad was a pro. That's what he grew up with. He grew up with NBA or bust. That was Kobe's life. Michael Jordan, we know his story. He got cut in high school. That's what drove him. Giannis, in a way, he's just happy to be here. LeBron James, his dad, single parent household. He always loves to say that. You always hear LeBron say, "Yep, sure. Growing up, you know, my mom's just us. Poverty, single parent household. I'm just happy to be here." So sometimes people kind of hate. You remember after Dallas when he was like, you know what? People that are hating on me for losing this finals in 2011, y'all still got to live y'all's lives. I'm going to live mine. People hated me. Right. Like, bro, you serious?
You never want, the one thing you don't need in those press conferences is perspective.
Yeah,
that's not what we're looking for.
Not trying to hear that. Giannis, I'm really not trying to hear that either. I'd rather you be realistic and say, yeah, me getting injured, I'm not going to lie. He looked like he was second guessing stuff. He was settling for jumpers. Yeah. He didn't have that same burst. And then when he fell really hard one time. And then that kind of changed his, you know, outlook on how he should approach the game. But yeah, man, you got to give the Heat their credit. Jimmy Butler was amazing. I've never seen Jrue Holiday get challenged like that in my life. Ever. He treated Jrue Holiday like he was a JV player, like a scrub.
And by the way, I know he'll still keep the chip on his shoulder, but congratulations to Jimmy Butler for getting to the point where the officials consider him enough of a star that they let him shove what's-his-name into the seats like that and then get the little – that's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Was that Connaughton that he shoved?
I think so.
And by the way, that's right after Budenholzer took Lopez out of the game.
What are you doing?
At least if he tries to push Lopez down low, it's a little more of a body you've got down there.
Yeah, that was just the awful play. You know what was going to happen. Like, they did that little circle pick play, and great pass by Vincent. That was an incredible
fantastic
pass. Incredible pass.
And great job by Butler. But that reminded me almost of Jordan's last shot with the Bulls, where I'm like, you just got to give him the respect. Is that technically a foul? Maybe, but you're not going to call it there.
Yeah, and you know, Kevin Love was huge in this series. He looked like the Kevin Love that was fresh from Minnesota and just got to Cleveland. You know, and I thought his time at Cleveland, it was good. Yes, they won that ring, but he wasn't as good as he should have been. And I think that was because of the pressure, the expectation of playing with LeBron James and knowing, okay, you're with LeBron James, that means you have to be in the finals every single year. Some guys, it's hard to handle. Now, Kevin Love, you're an 8th seed. You're at the end of your career. You don't got a care in the world. You're just out there hooping. And you can tell how much fun he's having. Like, he's so enthusiastic on the bench. And Kevin Love, he's a really good veteran that those guys need. Bam Adebayo, he came along. And then they have so many shooters on the outside with Vincent, Strus, Robinson. Even without Tyler Hero, Chad, Jimmy Butler, that he could do anything he wants because the spacing is crazy. You can't help on anybody. Jrue Holiday was on the island a lot. They would, switch off on Brook Lopez. He would be on the island because everybody's so afraid to help on the shooters on the outside. And Jimmy Butler, he didn't miss a pull-up jumper, I think, the whole series. He was getting to the paint. His three was falling. Averaged 37 points the whole series. He was absolutely amazing. I can't wait till for this next second round on Sunday with New York.
Yeah, New York and Miami. That takes me back.
Takes you back,
Takes
huh?
me back,
Van
man.
Gundy pulling on Lonzo Mourning's leg and stuff.
I was going to say, are you old enough to remember that one?
I do remember that one.
Yeah, man, that's going to be good stuff. New York and Miami will face each other. In the end, I would say both things can be true. Was it a dumb question they asked Giannis? Kinda, but it's got a simple answer. And you're right, it's yes. You're the number 1 seed. There's only been, 6 times now that an 8 has beaten a 1. Clearly, it's a disappointment. Clearly, it's a disappointing season. Do you need to ask that question? Probably not. Dude, just come up with a better question than that.
Yeah, he could have phrased it a little better.
It's just such an obvious question, and then Giannis tried to kind of dance around it. So I sort of get both sides of what happened last night, and he did it respectfully. Giannis is a respectful dude.
He is.
He realized it. You could hear it. We'll play it later. Halfway through, he realizes, and he says I don't want to get too personal.
Because he was about to say, you don't know, you've never played the game.
Exactly.
He was about to say that.
He was headed there.
He was about to say, you have no idea because you've never played the game
and then
at this level.
Then he
checked.
down.
Yeah, he checked himself.
Then he kind of calmed down. We'll get that sound to you later. It is a little bit, it's pretty interesting. Memphis staying alive last night with a big win against the Lakers. Golden State stepped up and got a win finally on the road. It's the first time in a while we've seen them do that. We'll talk some NBA, but a lot of NFL draft talk tonight for tonight as well. Jeff House coming up at 1:05. Up next, let's get into the crap bag and talk about these Longhorn draft numbers. Bijan's going to get rid of one of them probably, but it's Sark that's got to get rid of the others. This is The Horn.
Chad and Zay.
Ah, yes. You take Merciful Fate, take that face makeup off, add some hairspray, lighten the mood, and add Stephen Piercy. And you get Rat, ladies and gentlemen. Wanted Man?
Wanted Man.
Yeah. Never saw Rat live. I wish I had. Rat and Merciful Fate getting us started today. Oh, man. Where were you when Rat ruled the world? A long time ago, Zay. Long time ago.
Did they have the world on fire at one point?
A little bit.
Little bit.
Little while. I'd say I'd give him 2 years. I bet there were 2 years where everybody knew Rat.
Was the album Out the Cellar?
Out of the Cellar was the
Out of
first
the
one.
Cellar?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, the woman that is.
Because Wanted Man's on there, Round and Round is on there, and then there's another big hit. They had like 3 big hits on the first record.
So the woman on the album cover, she's like on her knees going into a tunnel that's underground,
Yeah,
and there's smoke coming from the tunnel.
They told deep stories back then. They told deep stories, back in the day. Actually, to be fair, if you're a Rat freak, that might be the second album, Out of the Cellar. The first big album was that, but I think it might have been their second album or third. All right, Rat and Merciful Fate to start us off. We are skipping the album swap this week. We're going to keep talking NFL draft in the 2 o'clock hour, although next week, Zay is thinking it might be Busta Rhymes for me. And I'm thinking it may need to be Metallica for Zay. You've said you've at least grown accustomed to the idea of a long metal song that takes a while to develop. Well, the kings of that were Metallica.
Ah, terrific.
So I think we may just immerse you in it and just see what you think.
All right.
We may do that next week as well. So we'll keep you up to date on that. Right now, let's get into the crap bag here. Longhorn fans, let's talk about all this draft number stuff. Get it out in the open. Here we go.
Chad's Crap Bag.
Crap bag. If you need an easy way to remember it, just think of a bag of crap.
Brought to you by AV Consultations, 255-8678, or go to avconsultations.com. These are some of these numbers you've heard before, but tonight's a huge night to start maybe changing these numbers if you are a Longhorn fan. It is true that the last offensive player for Texas to be drafted in the first round is who, Zay?
Vince Young.
Vince Young. That is true. So that takes us all the way back to 2006. 16 drafts have gone by, 17 years, and a Longhorn has not been drafted. An offensive Longhorn has not been drafted in the first round. Obviously, if Bijan goes tonight, that will change. Now, the last first-round pick was Malcolm Brown, the defensive lineman, if you don't know that one. But that's still 7 years ago, 7 to 8, however you want to work that math. So here's the other little thing about tonight that fascinates me, Zay. It's the optics. Sark will be there tonight in Kansas City with Bijan Robinson. The Texas coach has not had that opportunity for all these years. The last time this happened, Vince Young drafted in 2006. So here's your perspective. The last time Texas had an offensive player drafted, George W. Bush is president. The Spurs still had 2 more titles to win. The Mavs hadn't even gone to the finals yet. They're about to go to the finals against the Heat, and some would say get screwed. And what else is going on in 2006? I'm trying to think of what else. And people barely knew who Colt McCoy was.
Yep.
You were familiar with him. You kind of knew.
Yeah.
But 2006 is when that happened. So Bijan can get rid of that part. Here are some of the other numbers to just keep in mind. Why I think it's important for Sark to be there tonight, because you need to see that coach to show the recruit to say, hey, if I'm a big-time recruit and I want to go to the next level, there's the guy that can get me there.
Absolutely.
Just like Zay in the basketball world, the poster coach for that has become Cal.
Oh, he loves draft night.
Sit at draft night, watch these Kentucky guys in the suits head off into riches and stardom, and he's the reason
He does
for
it,
a lot of people.
He does it for draft night, and he does it in the playoffs. He'll go and watch his former players and then be on like the court and stuff just to show that I support you no matter what. Come to my school.
It's brilliant stuff. So here's the 2 stats I looked up just to give us all some perspective here. First round offensive linemen drafted since 2010 and first round draft picks overall since 2010. Here we go. Let's just go ahead and start at the top. Let's have some fun. We'll start at the top. Alabama. First-round offensive linemen since 2010, 8. First-round draft picks overall since 2010, 40.
Damn.
Just to give you an idea of where the top is. Georgia, 3 offensive linemen, 17 overall. Clemson, no offensive linemen, interestingly enough, since 2010, but 15 overall draft picks in the first round. Ohio State's had 2 offensive linemen drafted in the first round since 2010. They've had 21 first-round picks since 2010. Let's get closer to home. TCU, no offensive linemen, but 6 first-round picks since 2010. Baylor, 1 offensive lineman, 5 overall first-round picks. And here comes your last 3. A&M, 5 offensive linemen since 2010 in the first round, 10 overall first-round picks. Oklahoma, 1 offensive lineman since 2010, 10 first-round picks since 2010. By the way, if you're a Sooner fan listening out there, your team might need to change that 1 because you're headed into the SEC. And if you're not blocking and tackling any better than that, look out. 1 since 2010? It's not good. And finally, Texas. 3 first-round picks since 2010 total. Offensive linemen drafted since 2010 in the first round. None.
0.
Goose egg. Sark being there tonight with Bijan needs to change those numbers. Bijan will handle tonight. Sark, you need to be dressed up in your absolute best. Make sure that Miss L'Oreal gets you set up. No Burger King suit tonight. Make sure you are looking sharp.
Burger King suit was clean, y'all.
Make sure
y'all don't know style, man.
Make sure you are looking as sharp as you can because all of those big-time guys are looking at you tonight. Bijan could be the start of something that helps to change these numbers.
Yeah, and that has to change, and that's why it's so exciting seeing these recruiting classes coming in because now you're right there with the Alabamas and the Georgias with these recruiting classes, which leads up to first-round picks. Yes, you have to develop them, but it's a lot easier to develop a 4- and 5-star guy than it is a 2- and 3-star guy, or not develop them at all like we've been doing these last 10 years,
right.
Which is why you just named those terrible stats just now. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm with you. Everything needs to change down here, and you're starting to slowly see that, but it also has to be shown on the field.
Yeah. 40 first-round picks since 2010.
And
come on, dude.
Stupid.
Come on, Nick. Would you please? And then if you just look at, what did I say? 8 offensive linemen. I didn't break down the defensive line, but my God, that dude has just had so many big-time interior guys get drafted. Not to mention, and then you start seeing the skilled people get mixed in. That's
the ridiculous cornerbacks and safeties that he's had come through there.
Then the receivers rolled through. Then he starts putting quarterback. When the quarterback thing starts happening, that's when you know it's really dangerous. Because at least you could make fun of him for that over the years. Well, the quarterback is kind of, that's gone. That's gone. Tua, Mac Jones. Oh, and the guy who just became the highest paid player.
We ain't counting him.
Ever.
We ain't counting him. We gonna say that's Lincoln Riley's doing.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I'm not going to say it's a Sooner. I'm going to say I'm Lincoln Riley.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to say.
Fair enough. Draft coming up tonight. Let us know your thoughts. Obviously, if Bijan gets drafted, first offensive player to be drafted for Texas in the first round since VY, the question is, where will he be drafted? We know where Vince was drafted and then ultimately became Rookie of the Year. Is Bijan going to end up in Atlanta? Could it be Philly? That's 8 and 10. Detroit's been mentioned. If he gets down to 21 at the Chargers, all indications are they'll run to take him as well and put him with Herbert and the crew out in L.A. You think Bijan could sell some product out in L.A.?
Oh, that'd be too easy.
Oh, my God. You think he'd end up in a TV show or two if he wanted to? That flashing that smile at everybody?
Yeah, and him and Justin Herbert, they're cut from the same cloth, even though both of those guys are pretty presentable and, different ads, and a lot of people would want them to represent their product. Those guys are behind the scenes. Those guys are dudes that you, again, won't have to worry about getting into trouble. They're going to come in, do their leadership on the field, off the field, etc., and you won't have to worry about them. So, I think him and Justin Herbert, that will be a match made in heaven.
Could be big time. We'll continue to talk about the draft. Jeff Howe, horns247.com, coming up. We'll talk some Longhorn stuff, talk Bijan and the draft and where he thinks the other guys could end up. Also coming up in your flex segment, if you're a Longhorn fan or for that matter, an Aggie fan, a Sooner fan, there's a flex guy that got away, and he headed off to another conference. And now he's going into the transfer portal. So you get another shot. We'll tell you who he is coming up on The Horn. All right, let's go hour number 2 on a Thursday. Oh, it is a magical Thursday. It is NFL Draft Night in Kansas City. Will Bijan Robinson hear his name announced? And if so, how early in this first round? We'll continue to talk about that. We're going to get the latest thoughts from Jeff Howe of Horns247.com coming right up. Before we do that, a couple of quick updates. One on Texas baseball. They're at TCU this weekend. Big weather coming into Fort Worth tomorrow. They are right now planning on Saturday, Sunday, Monday for that baseball series. We just don't know exact times yet. As soon as we know, we'll pass that along to you. Also, if you're a Longhorn football fan, we told you this story the other day. This is a guy that you might end up facing in the game at Alabama. Tyler Buchner, the former Notre Dame quarterback, is indeed transferring to Alabama. Tommy Rees is the new OC there. That relationship probably is what brings him to T-Town. So there you go. You want an extra layer of drama in that game? Zay, let me give you the good news. Let me give you the good version for you as a Longhorn fan. What happens if Tommy Rees picks Buchner? They host Texas, and Texas beats them. What are they going to talk about in Tuscaloosa that week? Yow.
Yeah, a lot.
If Nick trusts Rees to pick his quarterback and he picks the guy that came with him from Notre Dame and Texas walks in there and beats him, look out.
Yeah, that's why I'm giving Texas a legitimate chance, because they're bringing guys in because they're not sure about Jalen Milroe.
Yeah.
They just aren't. He had mixed reviews on his spring game. Some said he did well. Some said, I don't know, but he has some huge shoes to fill. Like, it's tough. He's not going to be Bryce Young, and I think that's what Alabama people have in their minds of, you got to become that, and that's just not realistic.
Speaking of Bryce Young, most of the experts are saying he's the first pick tonight. Mel Kiper says his teammate Will Anderson will go second to the Texans. McShay says it's Tyree Wilson of Texas Tech that will go second to the Texans. Let's get into some more draft talk and some Longhorn stuff on the Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina hotline. We do it every Thursday about this time. You should know this name very well. He is Jeff Howe, Horns247.com, Longhorn Blitz podcast. Get it wherever you get your podcasts. And then, of course, Light the Tower, 10 to noon every day. I was listening on my way in today. How are you, Jeff?
I just want Zay to know that I'll be wearing the Sark Burger King suit to the cookout. So,
yo, Jeff, that was clean. They don't know style, man. That was clean. Only certain people could pull that off, and Sark did. I don't know why people still hating, like Chad.
Sark pulled it off, but he also blew a 28-10 lead to OU wearing those pants. So just for that, I'm saying just as a superstition, you should burn the pants. It's nothing against the style, but just for the sake of blowing a 28-10 lead, you gotta burn those pants.
That was a part of that day.
That's fair.
By blowing the game, it changed it a little bit.
That's fair.
Yeah, it changed it a little bit.
You can't wear that look no more.
That's kind of fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
Jeff, I was just making the point last hour. I think it's real. Could be a big time optic for Texas tonight to have Bijan there. Sark is there. For him to break the curse of the first round offensive guys, but then to have Sark there to start to establish that Texas can be a big player again in not only the recruiting world, but in the NFL developmental world.
No, I mean, you think about where Texas was last year. You were going into a draft last year, but all of us, I think, were pretty sure they weren't going to have anybody drafted, first round or not.
Yeah.
So you go a year later, and now you've got guys that have spent the better part of their time at Texas getting developed by Steve Sarkisian and his staff, at least in Bijan's case, that's definitely the case. Some of those guys spent a little more time under Tom Herman, but I digress. But, I think it's key that all those guys, whether it's Bijan, Roschon, Coburn, Ojimo, even Deshaun Jameson and Anthony Cook, who I don't think are going to get drafted, but I think they'll get shots to make a roster as undrafted free agents. All those guys played their best football under Steve Sarkisian. So I think you see the development track that they're on, just judging by how much better guys got in the spring game, or you can look at Jalen Ford and just look year over year how much better guys got. That player development piece for Texas is the thing that's been broken for so long. And it's not just coaching guys up on the field. It's nutrition, it's strength and conditioning, it's academics, it's football IQ, it's film study, it's lack of coaching turnover. So guys understand what they're doing year to year. All of that plays a part in it. And Texas has been they've been pretty good. I feel like they're on the right track. I'm not saying they got it figured out because time will tell, but they're on the right track. But I'll give you the stat, Chad, that, I'd heard you talk about offensive linemen, and I don't know if you mentioned this. Do you know the last Texas offensive lineman taken in the first round, who it was?
Nope.
The last one in the first round, was it Hills? That wouldn't be first round,
How
would
about
it?
Mike Williams? How about Mike Williams in 2002?
Oh, God.
Over 20 years.
Wow. Hills is the last one overall, correct?
Well, no, you had Connor Williams and Sam Cosmi. They've
Oh, you're right. My bad. Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but you haven't had a first-round offensive lineman in over 20 years now. So and I think Kelvin Banks will be the next one, if things continue on their current trajectory. But look, there's a reason why Sark has invested a lot into the offensive line, why he brought Kyle Flood with him from Alabama. And, if they can get that fixed, now you're talking about you've got a roster that can go compete in the SEC. I mean, Chad, look no further. I mean, look, Johnny Manziel had a lot to do with A&M's success when they made the move to the SEC, and I'm not taking anything away from what he did. But go look at those offensive linemen Kevin Sumlin inherited from Mike Sherman. Mike Sherman didn't do a lot right in College Station. One thing he knew how to do, though, he knew how to evaluate offensive linemen and knew the kind of guys to take. And look at how many first-round offensive linemen were on that A&M roster their first 2 or 3 years in the SEC. That makes a huge, huge difference. And then I think Texas is trying to get to that point where when they go into that league, they're not that you're ever done building on the offensive line, but you're done with the crisis management portion of building on the offensive line.
Jeff, a player in this draft that's getting talked about like crazy is Tyree Wilson. And, the edge rusher out of Texas Tech, you hear so many good things. One, just his stature. He's an absolute monster. But just watching the Big 12 this year, I did not think he would be a top 5 pick. Do you see anything in him that says, oh, this guy, he's destined for Canton right when he touches the field year one?
I'll say this, when I started having discussions with some of my colleagues that are in the Football Writers Association for voting on All-American teams, and there's a few guys I know that are on that call in that room when those teams get selected, and then I was asked about defensive linemen, and Felix Anudike-Azoma's name came up, and there were a few other names, Will Anderson, obviously the Texas played last year, that came up. The best defensive lineman I saw Texas play last year was Tyree Wilson. I thought from start to finish, consistency in Lubbock, I just thought he flashed more. I thought he was around the ball more. And I know it sounds crazy to think about a Texas Tech defensive lineman, but that's a credit to, Matt Wells and that staff had to develop him first, but what Joey McGuire and that staff did with him last year to get him to a point where he's like this. I mean, measurables and talent has never been the issue with him, but his body filled out. He's maintained the athleticism. I'm surprised to see him be that high. I see him mocked at number 2 to the Texans. Maybe that works out, maybe it doesn't. But at the very least, I thought he was the best defensive lineman that Texas saw last year. When you consider that Felix Anudike-Azoma, Will McDonald out of Iowa State is a guy that might hear his name called tonight again, and Will Anderson. I thought of all those guys, Tyree Wilson was the best of that group that I saw with my own eyes last year.
Yeah, and Jeff, I've said it. I love Tyree. It broke my heart when he left A&M, but I never thought it was going to this level. I wouldn't have thought, you know what's walking away, number 2 pick in the draft. Like, I didn't think it was that level, but it's great for him, the development that he's gone through, but also just the fact that he put together such a combine, and now it just keeps rising. There are those saying that he may be the number 2 guy to Houston tonight. We're talking with Jeff Howe. Jeff, in terms of Bijan and the things you've heard, read, and talked about, what's your gut tell you? Like, you and I as Cowboys fans are going to talk about a 26 pick here in a second. Have you fully prepared yourself for Bijan as an Eagle happening? Maybe?
No, and I won't. And it'll hurt. And I'll be butthurt about it maybe forever.
Yeah.
But it'll be that. No, I heard what you were saying about Bijan earlier. How he can make you feel like you're important. And it's funny. I was looking through some stuff, doing some draft prep, and I stumbled upon he and I did a Facebook Live when he was down at the All-American Bowl for check-in. So this would have been in January of 2020 or late December 2019. And we do the Facebook Live, and I don't remember how many people were on there, but I said, yeah, you guys aren't here to see me. You're here to see this guy. And he just laughs and goes, oh, no, trust me. He's like, they're here to see you too. You're important. I'm like, and it's just that kind of stuff, like you said, that he'll make, even though if you're not important, you're nobody, he'll make you feel like you're the most important guy in the room. That's just kind of the guy he is. And then I think Sark has put it perfectly. And I've asked his teammates, other people around him, I'm like, does he ever have a bad day? And they're like, no, he doesn't. Like, he's always smiling. He's always positive. Almost one of those people that almost makes you angry with how positive they are. Like, surely you can't be happy with how this is going. But no, I mean, he's a special guy and a special player. And it's funny to hear, the NFL talking heads talk about, well, I mean, do you take it back this high? Do you take it back this high? I'm like, look, some of you guys are so concerned about the running back thing that you're missing the point of how much value he brings to a team with everything else that he does. I've said from the time he committed to Texas, I felt like he was going to have some of the best hands on the team and could have played that hybrid position in Tom Herman's offense. And lo and behold, now you've got some teams that have evaluated him to say, hey, we think he could be like a Deebo Samuel type guy for us. Well, I mean, that's just glimpses of what we've seen from him over the last few years. So you're not drafting a running back. You're drafting an offensive weapon. Yes, his primary position will be running back, but he's so much more than a guy that you just turn around and hand it to him 20 to 25 times a game. You're getting the total package. And it does make me sick to my stomach to think about him doing that with the Philadelphia Eagles, which is why I'm hoping that Atlanta pulls the trigger on him at 8. And I didn't think he would go that high. I thought even Philly at 10 would be a stretch, but if you think about it, and I'll give Rod credit. Rod's the one that pointed this out to me on the Blitz this week. If you look at Bijan and look at him in Atlanta, you got a young quarterback with Desmond Ridder. You've already got, his number one receiver in Drake London, who you drafted last year. You've got a number one tight end, a number one weapon in Kyle Pitts, who you took 2 years ago. And now you throw Bijan into that mix. And Chad, as a Bucs fan, as bad as that division is, if you're Atlanta, you can get yourself into the playoffs year one with Bijan. So, granted, they're by no means a running back away from being a Super Bowl team, but, if Desmond Ridder clicks and you put enough around him, you can definitely get to 9 wins, win that division, and be in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, Jeff, I'm going to have to check you right there because that's Taylor Heineke's job over there in Atlanta. Let me just let you know.
Go.
That's Taylor Heineke's job. Desmond Ridder, you got 5 weeks. 5 weeks, fam. And then once Taylor Heineke takes over, you might as well say that's just a remake of Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith.
Hey,
if Bijan gets drafted to the Dirty Bird.
Jeff, in case you haven't heard it on the show yet, Zay loves Heineke as much as you hate Gerald. I'm just letting you know.
Wow, that is strong, sir.
Yeah.
That is strong.
President of the fan club.
Yo, Jeff, let me ask you this because you mentioned the next first-round pick in your mind coming out of Texas will be Kelvin Banks, which in my mind, that means Quinn Ewers has no shot. If a year from now we're talking to you and Quinn Ewers is up for maybe a first-round pick, what would that mean for the 2023 season for the Texas Longhorns?
That means Texas probably won the Big 12 at the very least, and maybe more. We talked about this, Quinn's development track. I mean, with being injured his junior year at Southlake and basically not playing football at all in 2021, at least after the season ended, and then coming to Texas and getting thrown in the mix. That would be a really, really quick turn. I mean, I think as a Texas fan, that's what you hope for, right? Is that he really gets figured out and is in a position to be able to go pro after this year, at least, have that decision to make. Whether he is or not. I mean, I think Kelvin Banks for sure is going to break the first round offensive line draft. But I think Quinn's got a chance to be that guy the tools speak for themselves. It's all the other stuff and the growth. And we know there's so much more to playing quarterback than just, hey, can you go from, hash to the opposite boundary and throw that 15-yard out on a dime? There's so much more to it, especially at the next level that goes into it. But I think he's got a chance to be that guy. Obviously Kelvin Banks. Xavier Worthy, I just don't know. I mean, he's going to have a monster year and, show that obviously that his hands have improved, 1, and 2, that his play strength, look, he's never going to be a 200-pound guy, right? But is his play strength good enough to where you feel like he can be a weapon for you on offense that you don't have to constantly worry about okay, is he going to have his route disrupted? Is he going to be able to get off the jam? Is he going to be able to do what you need him to do to function at a high level to where you would expect a first-round wide receiver to function? I feel like right now, if Xavier Worthy was in this draft, I don't know that he'd be more than maybe a late day 2, early day 3 type pick. That's just some of the scuttlebutt I've heard. But I think he's going to have a chance. And again, Quinn, I think will definitely have a chance. I think there's some other, a guy like Byron Murphy. If Byron Murphy has a big year, we know guys that can push the pocket and disrupt the passer from the interior are worth their weight in gold. And if Murphy can be one of those guys, then this year, then I think he'll definitely have a decision to make after the year. So, like I said, Kelvin Banks for me definitely on the offensive line, I think is trending in the right direction to be a first rounder. But if we're sitting here next year, Zay, and Quinn's getting ready to have his name called, then yeah, Texas at the very least won the Big 12, and I don't even want to say those other 3 letters what that would mean, but yeah, they probably are competing for more than that if Quinn's in a position to be a first-round pick.
That's true. And at that point, Sark can wear whatever he wants.
Bring it back. You get to bring it back.
He can wear a suit with lights on it if he wants to at that point. All right, Jeff.
Bring the Burger King suit back with all kinds of dust and soot on it and burn holes in it, whatever.
Whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
Go full-on Chris Jericho, light-up jacket. You can do whatever you want at that point. Jeff, real quick before we let you go, give me some Texas basketball thoughts. Are you still hearing at least positive leaning things about Max Abmas? And then what about Dylan Mitchell? Has that officially been decided one way or the other yet?
I mean, I guess on Max Abmas, it kind of not a ton of real substance. Everything I've heard is that it's still leaning Texas. The Wichita State thing is, Craig and I talked about this the other day. If Wichita State really gets involved in this thing, they can make it interesting because, with the Koch family and their resources on the NIL front, they can put together a package that could definitely compete with anything Texas would bring to the table. So just keep that in mind when you talk about Wichita State. In addition to having Paul Mills there, yeah, I think there's a reason why Greg Marshall, when he was there, might have been the highest paid coach in the country. Just nobody really knew about it because it was freaking Wichita State. Why would anybody pay attention to what the head coach of Wichita State is making? But I digress. But Kansas State, from what I've been told, things look really good with them and Tyler Perry, the North Texas transfer. But I'm told that, hey, they would take Max Abmas and Tyler Perry if they could get both of them. So K-State's not out of it. Wichita State's still kind of hanging in there. But everything I've heard, Chad, I haven't heard anything to get me off of my assumption that Texas leads. And if he had to make a decision today, I do think it would be Texas. I know Kendall Weaver, the guard from UT Arlington that just entered the portal, they were in home with him last night. He's a major priority for them. So I think now that you've got Caden Shedrick, you've got Dessou back, you're bringing Ron Holland in, the backcourt now can really take priority for Rodney Terry and that staff. As far as Dylan Mitchell goes, I still think if he really believes and the people around him really believe that he's going to go late 1, even early 2, where you can maybe start talking about 2-way contracts and things like that, then I think he goes. I think for him to come back, it would have to be a situation where everybody that's giving him advice would have to tell him, no, you're not ready. You need to go back to Texas for at least 1 more year and improve your game. I think if it's a late 1, early 2, not even necessarily a guarantee, there's just a strong inclination on his part that that's where he would go. I have a really hard time seeing Dylan Mitchell coming back.
Jeff Howe, horns247.com. Check out the Longhorn Blitz podcast wherever you get your podcast. Normally we'd get you that replay tonight, but with the draft coverage from the Cowboys, you'll go grab that Longhorn Blitz podcast where you get your podcasts. And Light the Tower comes up tomorrow at 10 a.m. to review what happens and where Bijan ends up if he does get drafted tonight. Jeff, we always appreciate the time. Let's hope Bijan finds a home tonight, and let's hope it's not Philly. Thank you, sir.
Hey, and at least if he's off the board by 26, at least that decision is out of Jerry's hands at that point. So let's hope it stays. Let's hope it stays that way.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Thank you, man.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right, thanks, guys.
Oh, just real quick before the break, Zay. Late first round for Dylan Mitchell. Are you seeing that?
Yeah. I wouldn't take that risk.
Late first. I mean, great for him if he could get that if he could get in on that guaranteed money, that's cool, but that amazes me.
You're really doing some development.
Wow.
Like you're going through it. Like Dylan Mitchell, you're sleeping at the practice facility.
Right.
Like
Absolutely.
we got an extra room for you so you could sleep. And once you wake up, we're getting right to it. Shooting, dribbling, like, oh, you want a place to stay? Here's some recommendations. What? This is the facility. I thought you were going to show me apartments. No. If you want to get drafted by us, this is where you staying, bro.
First ever NBA team that figures out how to get guys to take shots while sleeping. They'll show them in a bed, still taking shots.
Yo, something, because he needs it.
Man, oh man, that's interesting. All right, so we'll keep our eyes on that. Obviously, the NBA draft comes up in June. NFL draft cranks up tonight. Will Bijan hear his name called? And will the Texans go defense instead of quarterback? That's where everything is pointed right now. Up next, let's talk a little flex. In the Flex 30, a flex star that got away is headed to the portal. If you're a fan of a team in the region, might want to pay attention. This is The Horn. This is Chad. Let's talk Underdog Fantasy. Easiest place to play fantasy sports. Remember, NBA Pick'em games are there with the playoffs going, and MLB Pick'em games are out there as well. Only one NBA game tonight, but let's dig into Boston and Atlanta. How about Jason Tatum? 10 rebounds, higher or lower? How about 4.5 assists, higher or lower? You can also look at some combos of rebounds and assists or points and assists. They got a lot of choices for him tonight. Jaylen Brown, same thing. And that's what you're looking for. You're picking between 2 and 5 players to build a pick'em entry. Just don't pick everybody on the same team. Pick whether your players are going to have a higher or lower stat total for that game for your chance to win big. You get all the picks right, you can win up to 20 times your money on a single game. You can look at those rivals picks as well, which pits 2 players against each other with different stats or whatever. You can mix it up a little bit, do a little NBA and a little MLB in the same game if you even want to. Sign up today with the promo code HORN. Get your first deposit doubled up to $100. Visit UnderdogFantasy.com or find them in the App Store like I did. And don't forget to register with my promo code HORN to get your first deposit doubled up to $100. Must be 18 or over and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit www.ncpgambling.org. NBA Pick'em and MLB Pick'em right now at Underdog Fantasy.
Chad and Zay.
Okay. Rolling through a Thursday, getting ready for the NFL draft. What's the name of the song?
Right there.
110th Street?
Across 110th Street.
Whew. Man,
Damn, trying to catch a woman that's weak.
come on now. Across 110th Street. Yeah, I don't know. The only guess I would have is not right. So it's not, because it's not him.
You got to guess him.
No, it's not him.
No, you can't shy away from it. You got to guess him no matter what. I know it's not right, but just throw it out there because it could be close.
Like there's something in the voice at the very beginning that made me think of James Brown, but I know it's not James Brown.
Yeah, you're in the right.
Yeah, I mean,
You're in the right room. Yeah.
Right? It's in that realm. I just can't quite come up with who it is. Curtis Mayfield.
Close. Bobby Womack.
Bobby Womack. Okay. That's a beautiful voice right there.
Oh, man.
And what a great start to a song. You talk about bringing you in. Tell me a story.
Yo.
Right? Whoa. Bobby Womack, Rat and Merciful Fate to get us started today. That's quite a music festival right there. If you could get the Bobby Womack fans and the Merciful Fate fans and the Rat fans in the same line for, drinks and nachos and stuff, that'd be pretty cool. I mean, that'd be pretty cool. If you could just get them to hang out for about 10 minutes together, I think that'd be some fun conversations. All right, hopefully we're having fun conversations today. If you are a Longhorn fan, you're hoping Bijan finds a home tonight. If you're a Longhorn fan and a Cowboys fan, you're kind of hoping that home is not Philly. But according to these reports of the visit to Philadelphia, Bijan had a really good time. They really liked him. And the question is just going to be, at number 10, do they have a need they think is more important, or do they almost have a feel of, you know what, we've got the luxury of being the NFC champs that pick 10. Let's go ahead and get this running back. We know all the things we could do with him. Let's show Jalen Hurts just how much we value what we're doing on offense, and let's go.
Yeah, and if you're Bijan Robinson, I mean, some guys want to be the guy and want to come into a situation where they're the main focus and they know they're going to be the key point on these defensive coordinators' scouting reports. Or you could look at somebody like Philadelphia where you're just going to be a huge piece into an already flowing offense that was just in the Super Bowl. And you don't have to worry about that pressure. You don't have to worry about being overused and getting battered just because you have to get the ball in a situation maybe like Atlanta. Now, if you're in Philly, it's going to be spread out just because there's so many weapons there.
Right. Yeah. I mean, see, that's the thing of sometimes when you say you're going to be the guy, there is going to be too much on you. But, boy, if I'm a Bijan, if I'm – back to the discussion earlier, if I'm Bijan or if I'm Jahmyr Gibbs, I would love to end up as an Eagle, a Bill, or a Bengal.
Yeah.
Those three teams, they're already good. They've got their quarterbacks. They've got their weapons. They just need me. They need a versatile back that can do a lot of things, specifically Bijan. He's more versatile to me than Gibbs. But I think both those guys can be key parts if they end up in those spots.
And even Detroit and the Chargers.
Yes, and Detroit too. And you're right.
Both of those teams were right there. They weren't, the Chargers blew a 24-point lead against the Jaguars. That's an absolute joke. But
that's what they do.
That's definitely what they do.
Yeah.
But we know Kellen Moore being there, he'd probably love to have somebody of Bijan Robinson's caliber. And, yeah, I think Justin Herbert, that'd be really scary. And even in Detroit, with what they got going on in NFC North, that's now completely wide open. I know Minnesota won it last year, but I don't think they're going to be as good as they were last year. And Minnesota was a weird squad. Like, you remember all those comeback wins they had, and then they end up just getting worked by the Giants, which was a joke in its own right. But still, I don't trust them either. If you put Bijan Robinson on that Lions team, I'd pick them to win the North. I really would.
I'm glad you brought those two teams up because I think that is fair. Yeah, those two teams are interesting. And as a Cowboys fan, I would tell Bijan and his family could be good news to go to the Chargers because Kellen Moore doesn't hand the ball to anybody. So there you go. That'll break my heart too. It'll break my heart if he goes to Philly. It'll break my heart if he goes to the Chargers and Kellen Moore actually gives him the ball the way he didn't to Cowboys. That'll make me mad.
I mean, that's the thing with Bijan. Like, you could use him in the passing game, and he could go and give you the same production. You know? So
he didn't do enough of that either.
Definitely didn't do enough of that.
No, he didn't do enough of that there. We'll see what he does as the OC of the Chargers. So a lot of draft talk today. Let us know what you think. Somebody said they would definitely go to the Bobby Womack Rat Merciful Fate show. They're there. They're lining up.
That'd be the concert that would end racism.
It would. You're right. It would end a lot of things. That would end a lot of things that night. All right, that might bring down Ticketmaster. You never know.
Yeah,
might get rid of the whole thing. All right, let's get you a quick flex segment. There's a name you maybe want to remember because he's now into the transfer portal. Local guy, could be a little more local again. Here we go.
Flex ATX for the best high school sports coverage. Listen to the Horn and go to FLXATX.com. Flex 30 is brought to you by Brain Vault. Brain Vault is a revolutionary and patented mouthguard that has been proven to help reduce the risk of concussion. Visit BrainVault.com and join the movement.
So, Zay, one of the things about the transfer portal, obviously the old thing everybody always says about it giveth and it taketh away. It also gives you a second chance sometimes. Because we've been talking for a while about when your area's talent gets out of your area. Maybe it's a coach at Notre Dame comes and gets them. Maybe it's the Bama coach that comes and gets them. Or, as we've seen, maybe it's that guy Ryan Day that comes and gets them. And in this case, a young man named Caleb Burton started out, and he's been transferring for a while. He's had multiple transfers. He started at Del Valley. Mm-hmm. He finished off his high school career at Lake Travis. And then he ends up going to Ohio State. You and I double-checked the stats today. I see no stats for 2022. He had a tough time getting on the field. He did come in early in 22 to try to become a part of it. But now he's going into the transfer portal. I'm seeing him listed here at right around 5'10 and a half. Let's call him 5'11", 155. Smaller receiver, speed burner kind of guy.
Hey, he's that big, 155. That's it.
That's what it says here.
Dang, that's light.
Yeah.
Like bigger than that.
I did too. I'm going to double check. I'm going to double check on that, see if I can find the verification there.
Well, that's smaller than Xavier Worthy.
If I'm seeing it right, if I'm seeing it correct. But Caleb Burton is a name just to keep an eye on and see who might be interested in Burton.
Yeah, he was always a big-time prospect coming out of this area, and he had a very tragic knee injury in high school that, just hearing from a lot of people that watched him beforehand, said it set him back, which, it would. It set it back a lot of people.
Sure.
But you would think him being older now, he would get that burst back, and I don't know if he has. It's obviously going to be a very thick wide receiver room, regardless of who you are when you go to Ohio State. I mean, Jackson Smith and Jimba didn't play last year, and he couldn't get on the field with that. So that should just show you how thick it was down there in Columbus. But I think he's still a really good prospect. I don't know about Texas looking at him because it's a very thick wide receiver room down here. We all know that. We're watching the spring game and seeing the guys, Jonte Cook, A.D. Mitchell, to go along with Jordan Whittington, Isaiah Nayor, Xavier Worthy, etc. But, yeah, I still think this kid could do some things, and hopefully he can land on his feet in the right situation. I know he's a coach's kid, and, it doesn't work out for everybody. So maybe there's a squad and a team that could bring him in and put him in the right spot where he could succeed.
All right, let's throw some height and weight on. How about 6 foot 165?
Okay, that's much better.
That's what 24/7 says.
Much better. Okay, I'm about to say
6 foot 165.
Okay, that's much better.
All right, just trying to help him out. Trying to help my man Caleb out. Caleb, that's my bad. I was.
Yeah, that 10 pounds is a big difference.
It is. No, I saw that must have been that early indication. So 6 foot 165. We'll see if that name comes back around. Caleb Burton into the transfer portal, headed from Ohio State to somewhere. We will keep an eye on those offers as they come in at FLXATX on your social media if you want to check it out. We do the Flex segment every day at 1:30 following the offers, the commitments, and all the stuff around here. Obviously, we are headed towards 7-on-7, headed towards the season itself, and that all-flex team, our second all-flex team, will be at the end of the high school football season. All right, coming up at 2, back to the NFL draft discussion. We got to get back into the NBA as well. The games last night, there's only one game tonight, but last night, huge things going down as New York and Miami set up another series to go to their history. Memphis stayed alive, and Golden State got that big win. We'll get into all of it, but obviously we're talking a lot of draft today. Go to hornfm.com and find out exactly where everybody's going to be tonight at your favorite Pluckers location for our Pluckers draft party, and we'll bring you the Cowboys draft broadcast right here at 6. Remember, Rod and Harge are going to be out at Pluckers, the Link location, with their show today from 3 to 6. So just keep it right here all day on the Horn.
Chad and Zay.
Oh, it's definitely a party kind of day in sports today. NFL draft. Will Bijan Robinson hear his name tonight? Are the Texans going to go defense and not take a quarterback? Where will the quarterbacks end up? Cowboys at 26, all that stuff. Get out to your favorite Pluckers location because that's where our draft party is happening tonight. First picks right after 7 o'clock. We will start the Cowboys draft broadcast for you at 6 o'clock tonight. And the fellas on Ball Don't Lie are out at Pluckers Link tonight. All right, Zay. Should I get this one?
No chance.
Okay.
I have no idea what this is.
Fair enough. Who is it?
The Fatback Band.
Whoa.
Wiki Wacky.
The Fatback Band.
Fatback Band.
And it's called Wiki Wacky?
Wiki Wacky.
Uh-huh. As I sometimes tell my child when we're listening to music, there is no way everybody is sober making this song.
Oh, no.
No chance. Yesterday, my child listened to Led Zeppelin 1 for the very first time. She kind of got into a Led Zeppelin tune on another album. So we listened to Led Zeppelin 1 as we were driving around. I'm doing the driving instructor thing. We're about to try to get the driver's license coming up.
How's that going?
Going pretty well. Driver's test on Friday. Cross your fingers.
She's passing all the tests. Parallel parking.
Tomorrow morning, we practiced the parallel parking. We put her in an emergency parallel parking situation that she didn't see coming.
Emergency?
Where she didn't know it was happening. Where we said, okay, just park right there.
Okay.
And kind of got her nervous, freaked out, but she did it. She did fine.
Yeah, you may have seen like, park right there. There's a spot. We're going to miss it. We're going to miss it.
Yeah, I did that. I covered her eyes. I started throwing stuff up in the front. It was great.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah. So we listened to Led Zeppelin 1, and at one point, I can't remember which song it was. I said, yeah, they're not all sober here. They're not all sober in this song. The Fatback Band, Bobby Womack, Rat, and Merciful Fate have all been a part of the show. We'll keep talking draft, NBA coming up. There's a lot going on in the world of sports. Why Today Matters, April 27th, coming up at 2:30. Right now, though, it's Where We At in Society. We'll see where Zay wants to go.
Where are we at in society today?
All right, Zay, where do I need to go here? You sending me something on Twitter or what?
Yeah, go on Twitter, Chad. By the way, shout out to Tay Dick Stunt Devil for sending us the Jerry Springer video of Benny the Bull.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Getting cheated on by Big Ben, which is the
inflatable bull.
Mascot bull.
Man.
Chicago Bulls.
To the traditional Benny the Bull, as a pro wrestling fan, great bump. Great bump that he took. Man, he went down like a sack of doorknobs when that inflatable dude hit him. That was awesome.
Yeah, clearly Big Ben was packing in the way. Benny the Bull wasn't.
Yep. Big Ben. I mean, fully inflated, you know.
Yeah.
You can't. Sometimes you can't compete with fully inflated.
Jerry Springer, what a time.
Come on.
A time. All right. So for Where We At today, a little doubleheader, but they're along the same line.
Mm-hmm.
First off, women's basketball just became a movie for the 2024 season because Louisville transfer Haley Van Lith is going to LSU to be a national champion with Angel Reese and Kim Mulkey.
We warned y'all this was coming.
Let's go.
This may be the greatest player-coach matchup I have ever thought up, much less actually seen it happen. She is the second coming of Kim Mulkey as a player, and now she's going to be Kim Mulkey's point guard. Oh, my God.
They're easily the most hated team in the country.
Oh, absolutely.
That's not even close. I can't wait to hear stories about Angel Reese and Haley fighting in practice.
Yeah, I was going to say, do we even know if they get along? I mean, Kim doesn't care. Kim says, hey, I'll take all the attitudes.
Yeah,
We're good.
We'll figure it out.
They'll do whatever's best. And obviously, being two different positions, they should get along pretty well. If Angel Reese can't see why Van Lith is a good idea, I can't help her.
And then she'll
be fine.
Then they got Flau'jae Johnson too, who's Rock Nation, the rapper. She's going crazy. She's about to have a duo with Lil Wayne, like about to collab on the song and stuff. So yeah, this team, they're ridiculous. But the other part of Where We At, which is a little interesting. People have been sliding into Angel Reese's DMs.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, she's an attractive girl.
She
know.
is attractive.
The edges be on point. She got the lashes and stuff. She be looking right on the court. She do her thing.
And she's got the attitude to go with
And
it.
she got the attitude.
Some
She's
people
tall.
love that, right?
Yeah, gotta love it.
Hot and a great attitude.
Yo,
Okay.
when I saw her and John Moran in that video, I was like, yo, I don't know what John's doing. I know he got a baby moms. I don't know if he's single. It would make sense to me.
And by the way, that's also why Van Lith is interesting to me, because she's attractive and she's got the attitude.
Yes.
They both have that same thing.
Yeah, perfect match.
Yeah.
So, the people who have slid into her Angel Reese's DMs,
Yes.
rapper Future, which that's Sierra's baby daddy,
Come on, Future.
the one that Sierra left because he was a little too crazy, so had to get with the complete opposite and Russell Wilson.
Go Russell. But Future's not with anybody right now.
No, he'll never be. Well, he's from time to time, he'll bounce around.
Okay.
He was
All right.
with Steve Harvey's daughter, which she's basically the female version of Future. And, you know, he's always with attractive women.
Okay.
And the other one is Drake. Now,
Does that surprise you at all?
not one bit.
Okay.
Drake is a muck boy, an F boy, a manho, all those things.
A player.
He's a player, pop cone, whatever you want to call it.
Wait,
Pop cone player.
What is that? What does that mean?
Popcorn player.
What
You
is
haven't
it?
seen How High, have you?
I've not. What is
Okay.
a popcorn player?
I don't know. Mike Epps says it on How High.
Oh,
That-
okay.
When they were pimping and stuff. It's just a great movie. Great quote.
It sounds cool.
Oh, yeah. Popcorn player.
All
yeah.
right.
And, you know, and Angel Reese said it was just to congratulate him. But, you know, there's always extra motive to the DM. There's always just,
Well, see, that's the thing you need to let me know. I'm the old man that barely knows how to get into the DMs when you tell me to go during the show. I certainly don't use them the way, famous folks are using it today. Can a woman get into a man's DMs or a man get into a woman's DMs and it be totally cool, normal, platonic, no big deal?
absolutely. But you got to understand the track record
Oh.
from Future and Drake.
It's a little different when it's
It's a
Future
little
and Drake.
different. It's a little different from Dick Vitale wanted to congratulate Angel Reese via DM, and Drizzy Drake Rogers wanted to do that same thing.
that's-
And Drake, he always goes about it a certain way. He always like, oh yeah, invite you over, let me fly you out to the crib, and if it's somebody for Angel Reese's sake, he'd be like, let me invite you to the crib. I got a basketball court. That was his game to her.
Oh, I see.
I got a basketball court and stuff.
Basketball at the house,
Go to the
yeah.
house. We hoop and stuff like that. There's a new rap sensation out, woman rap sensation named Ice Spice.
Okay.
That's out right now. She's big, beautiful. Her and Nicki Minaj did the song together in a video. There's some serious rump shaking going on.
I've heard that name, yes. I haven't seen her yet.
Okay, she's big time.
Okay.
Drake's flew her out to air quote record.
Really?
That song hasn't dropped yet. It's been like 5 months since he flew her out.
Ah, I see. Okay.
That song hasn't came out yet. Where's the song, Drake? Did y'all record or not? I don't know. So you got to understand where these guys, where their mind's at and who it is sending these DMs. But Angel Reese, watch yourself. Watch yourself. Just letting you know.
Ice Spice has a collab with Nicki Minaj called Princess Diana.
Oh, yeah.
Because of course she does.
I don't know one lyric of that song, but I've seen the video about 3 times.
If that's a biopic, I'm really interested now. Wow, that's crazy. All right, there you have it. So Angel Reese getting attention from all corners, all areas. And we know this because she went on a podcast and told somebody this?
Yeah, she
Is
went
that
on a
right?
podcast,
Okay.
Breakfast Club. Actually, it's a radio show in New York.
Oh, I got you. Yeah,
Charlamagne
yeah.
the God, DJ Envy, rap.
I was going to
radio
ask you if
show,
that's the one
New York.
Charlamagne the God is on.
Yeah, it's good.
Is he any good as a rapper?
He's not a rapper. He's just a radio
Oh,
guy.
I'm sorry. I thought he was.
Yeah, he's just a radio guy.
With
like
a
you
na-
and I.
With a name that badass, I thought he did something else.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you can't just be badass and be on the radio.
No, he-
Obviously, we do it every day. But every time I hear that name, I think, wow, that's an awesome name.
It sounds like a rapper's name, huh?
It really does.
Yeah.
Charlamagne the God.
Right.
It just sounds like there's something out there. There's an album, a movie, a book, something I need to go get. But I guess
He does
there's not.
have books.
Yeah.
He's written books.
Plus, he's also a frighteningly handsome man. That's a good-looking dude.
Charlamagne the God?
Yeah,
Is he? Are
Is
we
he-
talking about the same dude?
I think so.
'Cause I think he ugly.
Do you really?
I
He's a
mean,
good-looking guy.
hey, we all have our different tastes.
Hey, Charlamagne, don't let him talk you down, man. I think you're good looking. Every time I see him, I'm like, this is a good looking dude.
Like, it kind of has a Sammy Sosa thing going on. It's not that bad, but,
Oh, maybe I haven't seen Charlemagne in a while.
I don't think you have.
Need to check in on Charlemagne. Whoa. I'm a little concerned now. All right. There is Where We At in Society. We do it every day about 1:45. Coming up, your 2 o'clock hour, NFL draft talk, the very latest of what the mock drafts are saying. It all gets real tonight, and there's one NBA game tonight, but how about last night? It just continues to get better and better. 3 straight nights of good craziness in the NBA. We'll get Zay's thoughts on that. And then at 2:30, it's Why Today Matters on April 27th, including one of the very few birthdays of guys that I actually know, of people in my life. That's coming up on The Horn.
Chad and Zay.
All right, hour number 3, getting closer to the NFL draft. Remember, Pluckers Link this evening for Rod and Hards this afternoon, I should say, from 3 to 6. Then Hards will be hanging out at the Link location. We'll have a Horn personality at 7 different Pluckers locations. Go to hornfm.com, find out who's going to be where. Zay's going to be at Lakeline. Our man Ty Henderson's going to be out at 183. I'm going to go hang at 183 a little bit as well. Aaron Hogan at the Y in Oak Hill. Rod Baber, South Lamar. Patrick Davis at Campus. And our man Wags is in Round Rock tonight. I think I got them all covered. All right, Zay, you start every third hour with a beat for the people. I feel like I've recognized this beat.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah?
Yeah, very popular song in
Is this
around 2006,
Okay.
7,
Oh,
maybe 8.
06. This
Got a popular dance with it
Oh,
that
really?
everybody could do.
Oh, wait, well, hang on. Would this be the I'll just pick a dance I know, that I know of. Is this the Dougie? I don't know. It's the only one I know. Teach me how to Dougie.
We're
Was
going to
that
play Dougie songs for the rest of the show after this, but no.
No, don't do that on my account.
Actually, you can do the Dougie to this.
Can you?
It's hard to do the Dougie in the chair. I'm not going to lie.
Okay.
I'm not doing it. I
No.
feel like I have no rhythm right now.
Okay.
But you can do the Dougie to this.
What-
No,
all right,
this
what is this
is Young Jock. It's Going Down.
Ah, okay.
Like, you remember the dance? Like the rock, where you rock to one way,
Oh,
and you went the other way.
Okay.
Right, yeah. You probably couldn't do it, but a lot of people can.
God, no.
A lot of people can.
Like a precursor to the dab. Before you just were dabbing, you actually had a dance that went with it.
Oh, yeah, the dab was bad.
That's not good. Yeah,
I
not
never liked the dab.
Not good at all. So Young Jock is who that was. Okay.
Yeah. The first time I saw the dab was Terrence Ferguson, who played for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Whatever high school prep team he played on, for some reason they came down to Austin and played LBJ, which, again, he was a 5-star player. I want to say he had another 5-star on his team, but they smoked LBJ by like 40. I don't know how Coach Rowland set that up. Shout out to Coach Rowland. That's my guy. But Terrence Ferguson, he hit the dab. Like, he hit a shot, then he hit the dab. It was the first time I ever seen it. I was like, what the hell is that?
You thought maybe
I was like,
he had like some.
Yeah, what's wrong with this brother? It's kind of like Jalen Brunson, like sniffing his fingers and stuff. It was just, what the hell is he doing? But it looked cool.
Yeah.
It's because when you hit a 3 on somebody, anything looks cool after you do it.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
it worked.
Yeah.
It worked, but then everybody started doing it randomly, and then when you start seeing white people do it, you're like, okay, maybe this ain't as cool as I thought it was.
Oh, sometimes that's the indicator, Zay, when you see the dorky white folks start to do it. Or just dorky folks.
Yeah.
Now, is there a progression where like the cool folks, and you see like dorky folks, because there are dorky folks of all colors.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So when a dance craze is starting to head towards Jump the Shark, do you see people of all colors, the dorky ones, starting to do it and do it badly? Does that happen?
Usually, I mean, there's certain dances where people don't even touch. Like, you don't see too many dorky people even trying the Dougie. The
Right.
Dougie's a little complex.
But it's not just about my people. Not that my people
No,
can't
it's
be
not.
dorky. It's
Anybody
about
can be-
all the dorks.
Yeah.
When the dorks start to try it, that's when the dance is pretty much done.
Right. You could be the coolest dude in the world and still have no rhythm.
That's right.
You know?
Absolutely. That's what I try. That's what I strive for every day. Coolest dude in the room, no rhythm.
Yo, I've never seen Michael Jordan hit the Dougie in my life.
That's true. That is true. And he is still Michael Jordan.
Still Michael Jordan.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk a little basketball coming up. We got NFL draft to get into in this third hour. It is an exciting day for obviously a lot of guys. 31 of them specifically tonight with the NFL. There's not 32 picks for whatever the reason is. I'm sure we'll have it explained to us at some point. But 6 o'clock coverage tonight for the Cowboys.
Miami, Tampa, and Tom Brady.
Oh, is that what it is?
Mhm.
Okay, there you go. I hadn't heard the explanation yet. So there you go. 31 picks because of that. Houston will have 2. By the way, to get them all out there, Houston has 12 picks total in the draft. 2 in the first, 2 in the third, 3 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th. So Houston's definitely a team that could throw some packages together tonight.
They can.
Pay attention for that. Cowboys have, as easy as you can understand it, 7 picks, 1 per round. That's it. That's where they come in. So that's kind of where things will get started. And Zay, as far as Bijan goes, Mel Kiper's last mock draft has him 10 to the Eagles. McShay, this is where I hope it ends up, if it's got to be somewhere else. McShay's got him 21 to the Chargers. So those are their 2 last mock drafts. What's the other position that Philly's looking at that's not Bijan? Like, why would it not be Bijan? I don't know if he gets taken 8 with Atlanta, but who else are they looking at for Bijan not to even be a question? Good question. I saw today at 10 for McShay, he's got him taking Nolan Smith from Georgia.
Ooh.
That if that level of talent fell to them, they might have to consider it. I'm also reading that they're looking interior.
Yeah, because Hargrave gone.
There you go. Just pure blocking and tackling stuff.
So is that Jalen Carter then?
If he fell, they'd have to think about it. Now, I'm seeing in these mocks, he's already gone by 10. But yes, that kind of guy. You think they would have to think about him. Now, how about this? If you're a Texans fan out there, Mel Kiper's got you taking Will Anderson at number 2. And how about Anthony Richardson at 12? He's got Young at 1, Stroud at 3 to Tennessee. He and McShay are both saying Tennessee will trade up with, who is it at 3? Arizona. They'll trade up to get Stroud, and then Levis ends up in Indy at number 4. So is DeMeco Ryans really going to let that happen? Are the Texans really going to have 2 division rivals get quarterbacks before they grab one?
I mean, Anthony Richardson, he's such an interesting prospect because we know the talent's there, the athleticism, all that, just the decision-making. What is that going to mean? Like all the lack of reps that he had in college. We know back in history when they looked at quarterbacks in the past, you better start 3 seasons. If not, there's huge question marks.
Right.
Like I remember when, Mark Sanchez was coming out of SC, and he had that 1 year in Southern Cal, and he was really good, and everybody was like, yeah, I don't know. The Jets took a chance on him, and it seemed like it was working out because they had those few years getting to the playoffs and stuff, but look now. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. And obviously those guys are 2 completely different players. But Anthony Richardson you're going to have to, I mean, David Mills is there. He can win you a couple of games. And when will it be his time? If the Texans were to take him, it's going to be a work in progress where if Bryce Young were to be there, I don't think it would be that much of a work in progress. Like I look at Bryce Young as a key guy to be rookie of the year right when he gets there.
Oh, yeah, he's got a chance to
go. I don't think that with Anthony Richardson. Like, how could you? So I don't know, man. They do need a quarterback, and I think they would feel more comfortable getting a edge guy like a Tyree Wilson or a Will Anderson, and then taking the quarterback, knowing that the quarterback draft next year in 2024 is thick also. So I could kind of see that.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea for Mel there. And for the record, McShay's got him taking Smith and Jigba at 12 there, and he's got Anderson. He's got Richardson going to Seattle at 5. There's some people that think the Seahawks might go after a quarterback at 5.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
The thought being that Pete Carroll could deal with whatever you have to deal with in terms of the development of Richardson.
How about Pete Carroll gonna keep this up? He's in 70 range now. Like, does he have he's talking like 10 more years left? If you draft Anthony Richardson, then you're looking for the long haul, in my eyes. Yeah. And this is a team that was in the playoffs with Geno Smith, and you just paid Geno Smith a lot of money, so clearly you're expecting him to be there for another 3 to 5 years. Why wouldn't you go for a luxury pick, what you need to help you maybe get over the hump? Anthony Richardson's not that at 5.
71 for Pete Carroll. Yeah, 71 years old.
That's what I'm saying. Good point. I don't think they're like Super Bowl contender, even with the number 5 pick. I don't think it would put them over, the hump as a Super Bowl contender, but they're closer to that than they are rebuilding.
Yeah, that's true. That's interesting. There's a lot of obviously interest of who does what, but they're sitting there at 5, and with what Geno just gave them, they're really interesting because We've talked about the Eagles being at 10 and being impactful. Seahawks are at 5, and they're not a badass team, but you got to pay attention to them.
They were good last year.
Yeah, and then what do they put together at number 5?
Like if Geno Smith, if you didn't believe in him, he wouldn't have got the money he got this offseason.
Right. No, he showed you what happened with his QBR, completion percentage, all the numbers you want. They went through the roof.
Top of the league.
It was incredible. He was top 3 like the whole year in QBR.
Yeah, so Anthony Richardson makes no sense to me. If they did that, I'd be like, what are y'all doing?
54% at Florida in 2022 on 327 attempts. That's the big concern.
And if I was Geno, I would give those guys that Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love treatment. I know Geno's not that type of guy. He damn sure doesn't have the talent as Aaron Rodgers, but I'd be salty. I'd be really salty. Like, yo, we were just in the playoffs last year. We could get somebody that could really help us. Maybe on the defensive side, maybe, offensive linemen that could help protect me so I don't have to take these shots from Nick Bosa twice a season and other guys that are, come on.
No, I don't think they need a quarterback. I agree with you. I think they're going to do something else. And they obviously, because of Walker, they don't need a running back. They're not going to be thinking about Bijan or anything. They need to get something of substance, I would think, at number 5. What about the Cowboys? Where do you think they're going to end up tonight with 26? You think they're going to just wait at 26 and then take what's there?
Yeah, I do. If I were them, I would go O-line. Because I don't think Bijan's going to be there.
Okay.
So that's just
tight ends.
Nah, I'm telling you, I'm cool getting a tight end later on.
You're saying wait.
I'm good with Henderson Ferguson. I really am.
Okay, because Kiper and McShay both have him taking a tight end. Dalton Kincaid from Utah is Kiper's pick, and McShay has him taking Luke Musgrave from Oregon State at 26.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that, but I could see you getting the tight end later on. I mean, Dalton Schultz was good for you, but damn, are you going to be missing them that much?
Right.
Well, how deep the tight end room is in this draft. Like, do you really need one in the first round? I don't know.
Yeah,
How would you feel about that if they took one of those tight ends?
I think if Kincaid or Mayer is there, that's where they got to go.
Okay.
I think it's one of those guys. And I personally, you know how much I like Washington from Georgia. I love the guy, but he's probably not 26 value. That's probably not where you take him. So I think it's one of those. If there's one of those two guys there, take him. There's a few receivers. Kind of like if Jordan Addison fell to 26,
right?
If he's still there, staring at him, I might think about the guy from TCU. We talked about that idea.
Quentin Johnson.
Is that the right value, on the board and everything? I'd like to see that. A lot of times I do go old man and just say, let's go blocking and tackling. But I don't know. Some of the skill stuff kind of stands out to me. Although I do think they need to address offensive line somewhere in this draft. Those guys are getting older by the second and more banged up. And I don't think you can fully trust that entire group of 5 right now.
No.
I mean, it's just that's not a great offensive line anymore. They're all right. Sometimes they're very good when they're healthy. I don't absolutely trust it, though.
I really like what Tyler Smith gave y'all, though. He was really good.
That ended up being a really good pick.
They were able to move him around and stuff and fill different gaps when different guys were hurt. So that was good, but
losing McCovered really hurts them.
It does.
I mean, that's what I'm concerned about that one. Losing Schultz on the tight end side concerns me, and then losing McCovered and his versatility. He did everything for them. And then, do they have Steele back? I never thought I'd be wanting Terrence Steele, but
I was listening to.
I think he is still there.
I was listening to B&E the other day, and my guy Ty Henderson, the producer, my man, he said that Ferguson was up at tight end camp. You know how that they have the big tight end camp that they always do with George Kittle and all those guys go to, Travis Kelce. And he said Travis Kelce loves Jake Ferguson. Like, he could be the next big thing.
Ooh, okay.
So that's why, and again, just you saw the flashes this year with those guys. You didn't see it completely just because Dalton Schultz was such a security blanket for Dak Prescott. I mean, after CeeDee Lamb, he was the next, most reception guy. But You do need to draft the tight end. I just don't think you need to draft it that early with what you already have.
Yeah, no, I got you.
That don't cost anything.
Yeah,
Ferguson and Hendershot don't cost you nothing.
Those guys have shown you some things. You're right. Terrence Steele is still on the roster here, so he's going to be factoring into that offensive line as well. We'll see what the Cowboys are looking at 26. That'll be obviously coming up tonight. Our broadcast for the Cowboys starts at 6, rolls all the way through 11 o'clock tonight. Rod and Hards leading you up to it 3 to 6. They'll be out at the Link location. Go to hornfm.com, find out where we will all be tonight. Heading out to Pluckers for the draft party. Somebody texted us, Zay, one of our favorite listeners, female listener, number 1, says, I can finally meet Zay tonight. Well, yeah. If you head out to Pluckers Lakeline. There you go, female listener number 1. I'm looking forward to seeing some of the listeners. My man Michigan Dan hit me up, said he's coming out to 183 tonight. Plus, I get a chance to maybe introduce 2 people that I really like that I don't believe I've ever met. You know when you have like friends that sometimes they don't get along, but you get along with both of them, or family members or something?
Right.
It's not that. That's not the case here. This is just two guys I like to hang out with. They've both let me know they're coming. I'm like, oh my God, I can introduce them to each other. I can introduce Leonard Love to Bobby Brubeck, the former mayor of Maynard Downs, Bobby Brubeck, and Leonard Love, my man who's a huge Longhorn fan. He's worked all over town. Used to run the store, run a great place out in Elgin when Regulators was there. Shout out to Regulators. R.I.P. Wish it was still there. Yeah. Best wings I've ever had in my life.
Really?
Leonard's the man when it comes to preparing pretty much any food on this earth. And he's going to come out tonight. So anyway, it's going to be good to see everybody tonight. Get on out to Pluckers. Check it out. It's also going to be possibly the last night for this Boston-Atlanta series. Zay, do you think Boston can close it out? They'll have to do it in Atlanta this time because they missed the opportunity at home.
I don't want them to. I want the Hawks to take this as far as possible. I need a Game 7, man. I don't know if we're going to have one for sure. Maybe the Lakers-Grizzlies could turn to a Game 7, depending on what we see tomorrow. But I hope it does. I don't know. I could see the Celtics just being so pissed off at, just the way they got dominated by Trae Young and the Hawks at the Garden with no DeJounte Murray. Like, they let one slip.
And DeJounte's back. That was a one-game,
Back. That was a one-game
Right.
suspension, and they were up by double digits at one point, and the Hawks still found the way. So I could see Jason Tatum just taking matters in his own hands and going for 50 tonight and ending it.
That was a great fight that they put up to stay alive. And then also last night, back to a couple games we hadn't talked about yet, I was so impressed when the Lakers, and I'll admit I'm leaning for the Lakers in that series, but when the Lakers made that thing close, and I think even tied it up in late third quarter, I think is when the time frame was.
Yeah, it was third quarter.
And Memphis stepped on them after that. 19-2, I think, was that run.
Oh, 26-2.
26-2. I'm sorry. It started as 19-2, and then it didn't stop. That was incredible. They just absolutely blew them away.
It was 19-2 in the third, and then they continued it in the fourth and became 26-2.
That's what I'm thinking of then. I didn't realize that the Lakers just kept not scoring there. How much of that for you was LeBron just being out of gas after the previous game?
A lot. You knew he had a lot of emotion. You saw him yelling and stuff after he had that and-1 finish on Dylan Brooks to ice the game in Game 4. And you're kind of like, man, that's a lot of emotion that the whole team is showing. And it's going to be tough for them to go to Memphis and try to get one when the team is very desperate, knowing that their season could be over and they're a number 2 seed. Obviously, the whole John Morant stuff happened during the season, which kind of knocked them back. And then in this series, we know they don't have Steven Adams. We know they don't have Brandon Clark. And then John Morant hurting his hand. I was really impressed with the performance he put on. Him and Desmond Bane, they took matters in their own hands and really stepped up and got buckets last night. So, yeah, going back to L.A., LeBron, he won't play that bad again. And I still think the Grizzlies can make this a series and win that game tomorrow. I think they have enough to keep putting it on. I thought Dylan Brooks was good yesterday, too. He had some pretty big shots, and his D on Braun, 15 points, say what you want. Him being tired, he was still guarding LeBron and making life very difficult for him. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting Game 6, but I do think the Grizzlies could win it in force a Game 7 back in Memphis.
Yeah, Lakers are going to try to close it at home, and then obviously Memphis wants to go back to their place for Game 7. Crazy, the Lakers wasted a 31-19 from Anthony Davis on the road.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That was rough. He played his ass off last night.
He did.
Wow, what a game he had. I'm pulling for the Lakers in the series. I'd like to see the old guys continue to roll, and I like the fact that Davis was playing that well, but overall, nobody really came with him. Like Russell, James, Reeves, they all ended up in the teens, or it was 11 for Russell, but nobody really got going. Nobody really got it clicking. LeBron is so good that 15, 10, and 5 is not enough. Not near enough of what he needs right now. And he did look exhausted towards the end. What did you think of Golden State, the way they beat Sacramento last night to try to set up the closer in Game 6?
I think the Sacramento Kings missed an opportunity to win Game 3 when Draymond Green was out. You have to win that game. You have to win that game against a team like this, which I'll continue to say that has championship DNA. They're not going to get flustered. They're not going to get down on themselves. They're just going to regroup and figure out ways to get better and figure out ways to beat you and lock you up so you can't beat them like you were doing in Games 1 and 2. And that stomp from Draymond Green on Sabonis that got him kicked out, that changed Sabonis. He's not 100% because he's getting out-rebounded. He's getting just dominated by Keon Looney in the boards.
Yeah, he's just kind of gone in this series now.
Yeah, I mean, that 21-10, all right, but Looney had 22 boards, 7 offensive.
Yeah.
Box him out. He can't keep him off the boards. These last 3 games, all Warriors dubs.
22.
He hasn't been able to keep him off the boards. And now Draymond, now he's motivated because he wants to prove to his team and the world that it's not his fault if they lose the series.
How about that 21 off the bench?
Oh, he was hitting fadeaway jumpers. He was hitting threes.
Him looking to score like that. Being aggressive and finding decent shots, good shots, hitting that 3, that was big.
What do you do with that? What do you do? Because you're already trying to stop Steph. You're already trying to stop Klay, which you didn't. Both of those guys went over 25 points. Klay Thompson, 25 points. Steph Curry, 31. Now Andrew Wiggins, he's back, and he's fresh. So the thought about him missing those 25 games in the regular season, will he be able to get acclimated with the team? Will he be able to get his chemistry back with the squad? Well, he's done that, and now he's fresh because he missed those 25 games. So he doesn't have the wear and tear that some of these guys in Sacramento, with them, a lot of them being their first playoff time, have. And now De'Aaron Fox, he has that injury, which he was feeling in the fourth quarter. I think he went 0 for 6 from the field in the fourth. And he kept grimacing and kept trying to shake off the pain and stuff, kept trying to keep that finger loose. That's a problem. So, yeah, man, the Sacramento Kings, they had their chance in Game 3 to go up 3-0. They didn't. Now Draymond is back. Now he's motivated. Steph Curry, that was a hell of a finish where he was dribbling out the time, looking like Curly Neal or some stuff, just dribbling it out. In the very last minute, that little scoop that rolled around the rim on Harrison Barnes, and he screamed and yelled, ball game. Now you're going back to Golden State. You have no chance, Sacramento. No chance.
I like that they went back and timed that all out. 9 full seconds he dribbled around. They couldn't stop him. That was crazy. Yeah, I'm with you. I think they're about to close the door on them, specifically that they get to do it at home. They're not letting that go by. They are not going – that series will not go back to Sacramento, I would imagine. And just like – it's a different style of basketball, obviously, but in watching the Bulls run back in the day, Jordan was always – it seemed like was always going to be Jordan. But when Jordan and Pippen had a great game at the same time, they were so tough to deal with. When you see Klay Thompson do stuff like he did last night, it just reminds you – that stupid, like, let's go to the very corner 3. Zay, he chose the tougher shot there. He chose to go to the very edge and knocked it down like it was hot buttered popcorn. No problem. That was incredible. And I'm like, oh, yeah, it's one of those nights for Klay.
Klay Thompson has one of the worst shot selections I've ever seen. But for him, it's a great shot.
My God.
Almost every time. He'll be fading to the left, and he'll still keep the same pure form.
Yeah.
He'll be fading to the right, and he'll still keep the same pure form. He'll shoot it with guys right up next to him. Doesn't matter, contest or what. He doesn't care because in his mind, all I got to do is get it off. You're not gonna shake me up by trying to contest it or anything. I'm too lasered in. I'm too good of a shooter. I had too many reps.
He's incredible.
He's one of the greatest shooters of all time, and we don't talk about him enough because Steph's there.
Right.
He's always going to be in Steph's shadow.
Yeah, like if you're right, and like if Steph's the greatest shooter ever, and if Dame Lillard is the second best shooter, like say right now, where's Clay? 4?
Nah.
3, 4, 5?
Nah, I would still put Ray Allen, guys like that in front of him.
No, right now in the NBA.
Oh, in the NBA.
Right now.
Oh, yeah.
Is he 3?
Yeah.
4?
I don't know who 4 would be.
Because
who 3 would be if it's not him.
Steph, Lillard.
Yeah.
Who?
I would say Clay.
I mean, when he's absolutely on, is Durant?
Yeah, probably KD.
Maybe 3?
Maybe Book. Maybe
Devin Booker, the way he's playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Just because Clay, you're not going to see him dribble.
But he's right there. That's true. Yeah, all around. But, in terms of just the pure shot, Clay is,
Clay's right
my
there.
My God.
Mm-hmm.
That was impressive last night. Yeah, I think they're about to shut that door and move on. Tonight, it's Boston and Atlanta. We'll see if Boston's ready to move on in that series. All right, up next, let's talk April 27th, why today matters. We're getting closer to the draft. Get your stems and seeds. There's a lot of things out there today. An update in the NFL about a PED suspension. Plus, we know where the former Notre Dame quarterback is headed. No big shock. We'll tell you where that ends up coming up as well. Stay with us right here on the Horn. This is Chad. Let's talk a little Apple leasing. Any make, any model, any car, any truck, any SUV, they will get you in it. It is the easiest and safest way to get a new car. Could be new, could be pre-owned. They've got different options there. Mine ended up being new for me, but it is a pre-owned. It was a 2019 that I got into. I went from a 2014 to a 2019. That's some of the many options they've got for you with Apple leasing, the fact that it could be new or pre-owned, and lots of different options, multiple brands. If you're looking at that, they can really save you so much time and obviously save you money because they're going to find all those rebates. They're going to find all those sales. Maybe there's a holiday sale coming up. Maybe it's a selection issue with a particular car, with a particular make, with a particular dealership that they can help you get the best out of. They get the same discounts and incentives that the dealers do. They pass all that on to you. You're going to sign everything electronically, and like I've told you, they will deliver right to your driveway, just like they did for me. 346-9977. Give them a call. Start those conversations. You'll find out how easy it is. Be sure to tell them you heard about it here on the Horn. 346-9977 or go to appleleasing.com.
Chad and Zay.
Yeah, I'm sorry I even said it. This is my fault. My fault. All my fault. He said the other one was a dance, and I said the Dougie because all I could think of. Shows you how much I know about dances. I'm sorry. So is this the Dougie, or is this just a Dougie?
A Dougie. There's multiple Dougie songs. We're going to play the other one on the next break.
So there's two.
Yeah, there's two.
All right, which
I'm
one?
sure there's more Dougie songs or more songs that you could do the Dougie to,
Okay.
but these are the main ones.
All right, what is this one?
This Lil Will from Dallas.
Lil Will.
His only hit,
Okay.
but
Fair
it was
enough.
a hit.
And what's it called?
My Dougie.
This is my Dougie. Okay, fair enough. Lil Will, the Fatback Band, Bobby Womack, Rat, and Merciful Fate have all been on the show, plus the great Young Jock Beat to start this hour. The NFL draft is coming up tonight. Bijan Robinson, more than likely, will be drafted. That'd be a big shock at this point. If we get all the way through it, think about that, Zay. If we get all the way through tonight and Bijan doesn't have a home yet, that will mean that Philly, Buffalo, Detroit, the Chargers, who's the other team you mentioned earlier? Cincinnati. We mentioned earlier. Cincinnati, they would have all passed. The Cowboys would have passed. I mean, come on. Atlanta at 8. That's not all happening. Bijan probably finds a home tonight. We'll just have to see where that is. How did these quarterbacks end up going? It looks like Young at number 1, but after that, there's a lot of different ideas out there. Pay attention, Houston Texans fans, to two of your rivals. Tennessee at 11 may want to come up for a quarterback, and then the Colts are already sitting at 4, and they're probably taking one. And they would love to get Levis, apparently. The Colts love Levis, and Tennessee might actually like Stroud enough to come up to get him. That'd be wild. After all that Stroud's been through the last few days, for a team to trade up to get him, that'd be good for his egos, eh? He'd enjoy that.
Yeah, which would mean the Ryan Tannehill experiment is over with, and then Malik Willis. I can't even say it was an experiment. What'd you try with him? Did you get a fair shot?
Yeah, I guess that's true. If you did that, would you have to go right to Stroud, or could you try to make that a Tannehill bridge to Stroud?
I'd go right to Stroud.
You just go
Let's
right to
not
it.
waste time.
Yeah, probably a good idea. Especially don't waste Derrick Henry.
Right.
Don't waste Derrick Henry time.
Yeah.
Because that clock's ticking differently.
That's a name to look out for tonight, too, because we've heard rumors about them shopping him just because, again, him being at his age, how much does he have left? And for his sake, put him on a team where he could help them win a championship, because that Tennessee ain't it. It's not it. It was at one point in time. They were close, but Tannehill, when they were the number 1 seed, that game that he played, who was that came into town and just made him look like trash last year or a couple of years ago? Somebody let us know. Specs, Bengals.
Yeah, it was Cincinnati. Those early interceptions.
Yeah.
I think it was Cincinnati.
Man. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, and God help the rest of us as fans if one of those impactful teams we talked about gets Derrick Henry somehow.
Yeah.
I mean, what if he ends up on a Philly, Buffalo, Chargers, Lions, just list it out. That'd be pretty wild, too. NFL draft coming up. Let's get you Why Today Matters on April 27th. Here we go.
Why Today Matters, brought to you by Sinus and Snoring Specialists. Get sinus and snoring relief with Dr. Daniel Slaughter at Sinus and Snoring Specialists, 512-601-0303 or sinussnoringent.com.
All right, we don't often focus in on deaths in Why Today Matters, but Jerry Springer dying is certainly going to be big for a lot of folks in pop culture today. 79 years old for Jerry, a truly unique television show. Like him or hate him, there was nothing else like it. There will never be anything else like it. Jerry Springer, dead at the age of 79. Today is also the birthday of one of my best friends. My man Rick Sacamano has a birthday today. I do not commit to memory very many guys' birthdays, but that is one I know. I know a handful. Zay, I think I've got yours because there's a famous day in music. Aren't you February 3rd?
That's right.
Okay. And that's the day the music died, and for some reason you told me that, and I connected it, so that's why I know yours. I've known Kevin Dunn long enough to know he's June 18th. Shout out to K Dunn out there. He does not want us to know that because he's an anti-birthday guy, but that is his birthday. So there you go. Happy birthday to Sacamano today. Cowboy fans, Leroy Jordan is 82 today. Super Bowl champ from Super Bowl 6, College Football Hall of Famer at Bama. That was before my time to remember where he played in college. Alabama for Leroy Jordan. Kiss fans, Ace Frehley is 72 today. Spurs fans, George Gervin is 71 today.
Iceman.
Dude, here's a good one, Zay. I can never, ever commit to memory where he went to college. Do you know where the Iceman went to school?
Crap.
Because it's a tough one. It is not a basketball mecca by any stretch.
Oh, gosh. It's not like an NAIA. It's just a smaller school.
It is correct. And then I'll give you a little hint, too. It's directional. Small and directional. I'm going to try to commit this to memory.
Yeah, I don't know.
Eastern Michigan.
Yeah.
Just,
he's from Michigan, though.
Yeah, he's a Michigan guy, so it kind of makes sense. Also, Herm Edwards, 69 today. Herm went to Cal and San Diego State along the way. I love that he's back as an analyst. I do. I think that's where he needs to be right now.
Yeah, he was doing some sketchy stuff over there in Arizona State. But, yeah, I like him as an analyst, too.
Yep. Also, Keenan Allen, 31. We were just talking about the Chargers. Do they end up with Bijan? Keenan, Cal, if you don't know the old school, 31 years old today, Zay. Definitely in that area as a receiver where we're on the backside.
Yeah.
So another reason to get things going with the Chargers. Stop blowing all those leads like you're talking about. Take advantage of Herbert, but take advantage of the end of Keenan Allen.
Yeah, and I don't know if they need a wide receiver down the line, but Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, those guys are both injury prone, and it doesn't seem like it's going to get any better for Keenan Allen because Father Time, that's going to catch up with him if it hasn't already. But yeah, one of the best route runners in the game, has sure hands, and one of the most underrated receivers in the game, Keenan Allen. Yo, back on Iceman, Chad, did you own that Iceman legendary poster where he was sitting on the ice chair with like the two balls and he had his legs crossed?
I remember I had a couple friends that had it since I was I was a Mavs guy.
Right.
I wasn't going to have it, but I loved it. That's one of the best posters.
Oh,
that to me, my lifetime, that's a top 10 basketball poster for sure.
My pops had it in his coach's locker room or coaching office, and I would always ask him, yo, can I have that? Can we bring it to the crib? And he would never let me take it down. He would never let me take it down. But like, what do you need it for? You have 1,000 posters and 1,000 different like memorabilia, different things around your office. What do you need this for? Like, I love these kind of things. And he wouldn't
Such
budge.
a good idea too. God, that was a great idea.
Oh, it's so clean.
Yeah, that was good. You're
right.
He
never liked it. He never liked it. He never wanted to do it because he thought it was a little,
Wait, Gervin didn't like it?
Yeah, he thought it was a little zesty having his legs crossed. So, George Gervin, he cold. He cold with it. He thought, it was a little too zesty for me.
A little zesty.
A little zesty, I don't know, but it ended up being a cold poster.
I would hope he didn't use the word zesty. But in a way, I do hope he used the word zesty.
He might have used the word that you can't say no more. It's a little offensive.
Probably true. All right, so let's give one more birthday out because, Zay, I know you're a fan. I do not believe she was born in the state of Texas, but we will consider her a great Texan today because it is the big 3-5. In case nobody's told you today, you're special. Lizzo is 35 years old today.
What a woman.
Zay Collier.
What a woman.
My goodness.
Just a goddess. Just an absolute goddess, man.
That's a powerful, powerful a voice that will take you to church even if you're not in fancy clothes on a Sunday.
Yo, y'all know how I feel about Lizzo. Love that woman. Sexy, sing, dance, got everything you want for a woman.
If you want a weird skill, she plays the flute.
Yeah, and you know what that means, fellas.
In the middle of a hip-hop tune.
Yeah. You see how she works that flute. You know what I'm talking about.
Wow.
You know what I'm talking about.
Wow.
She's serious.
Wow.
She's serious. Then y'all could go out to eat afterwards.
She's got one of those voices where when she hits certain notes, like I feel like I can see 10 feet into her throat. You know what I'm talking about? When she opens up and goes, just one of those singers where when they hit the big notes, they open their mouth like really, really big and wide, and the sound comes.
You know what I'm talking about?
You're like, my Lord. Yeah, incredible talent out there. And
my
also,
mouth could do some things. I'm telling you.
And I also just enjoy, there's a bravery to what she does. There's a bravery to what she does, the way she does it, and the idea that she's conveying to her army of fans of you're good just the way you are.
Yeah, that's what makes her sexy, man. She don't care what you got to say about her. We
Right.
know there's haters out there.
Yep.
We know how people have looked at these entertainers and want them to have that petite Janet Jackson type look. Well, you don't have to be talented and have all that. You could be what Lizzo has and be beautiful and be talented and be sexy and do it all. And yeah, that's why, like you said, she has a certain cult following and she changed the game.
Yeah.
Love me some Lizzo.
Just make sure if you're going to make fun of Lizzo and her dancers, make sure they are not standing behind you in an alley because you're not getting out.
No.
That's a group now. Whew. Man. I mean, that is some serious curvy athleticism ready to take you out. Dude. Every time I've seen the Saturday Night Live performances or award show performances, that is an impressive group. No doubt about it. Happy birthday to Lizzo, 35 years old today. And I've heard the latest album. I've got a 16-year-old daughter, so I try to
she's
keep
jamming
up.
it. Right.
Yeah, she likes Lizzo. She's into Lizzo. We haven't seen Lizzo live yet, but I've heard that was a really good show. When I think she just came through in the last year or so. I think Lizzo was in town.
Yeah, she was here recently.
Right? She hit Moody. She's hit Moody already, I think. Happy birthday to Lizzo and all the rest with a 427 birthday. 427 this year means NFL draft. Get you a couple more notes before we get out of here in stems and seeds, including what NFL team may lose their left tackle because of PEDs for a little bit, and a quarterback Texas may face next year makes a move. That's next on The Horn.
Chad and Zay.
New rule. No dances are ever going to be mentioned on the show again. I'm not going to put myself or any of you into this trap. I created 2 straight Dougie songs on the show earlier. I'm so sorry. All right, Zay, this is Teach Me How to Dougie. Who's this?
Who is this?
I don't know.
Yeah, literally just says, teach me how to Dougie, clean version. I don't know who this is.
So it's the mystery artist? What is this, the Masked Singer? What are we doing? So, mystery artist, Lil Will.
Cali Swag District, that's who this is. That's
Cali
right.
Swag District?
Yeah.
All right. That's a great name, actually. Cali Swag District, Lil Will, the Fatback Band, Bobby Womack, Rat, and Merciful Fate.
Okay, so you know who killed the Dougie back in the day? Just killed it. Looks like Michael Jackson if he did the Dougie. Baker Mayfield.
Baker was good at it?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about him doing the Dougie during his Oklahoma days, like right when he touched down. Now, that's not the Oklahoma in him. That's the Austin, Texas in him. That's that style. That's that flavor that somehow he got from maybe hanging out in East Austin back in the day. I don't know. But Baker Mayfield definitely has swag. He can dance.
Because my favorite sports Dougie would be Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson of the Vikings, I think, has the best Dougie I've seen from an athlete.
You seen him hit the Dougie?
Yeah, became his touchdown celebration like 2 years ago or last year.
That ain't the Dougie. That's the Gritty.
Oh, the Gritty. See, I can't even keep him straight. Oh, my God. I'm so sorry. All right, now I've been thinking of the Gritty. We've been talking about the Dougie. Good grief.
You remember how Uncle Phil used to throw out Jazzy Jeff on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? That's how they gonna throw you out the cookout for saying some ridiculous stuff like that.
Oh, it's just
like, whoa,
so
man.
many times, but it becomes more and more true as time goes by that my wife and my daughter are right. Sometimes I just need to stop talking.
Oh, you got the Gritty and the Dougie confused.
Gritty
Beautiful.
and the Dougie.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I wish we had time to clear all that up, but we don't. Let's go stems and seeds and hit you with a couple things here.
No stress, no seeds, no stems, no sticks.
Brought to you by AV Consultations, 255-8678, or go to avconsultations.com. We told you earlier, Tyler Buckner, the transfer from Notre Dame, he is going to end up at Alabama. Longhorn fans, you might end up facing him in Tuscaloosa. If you're a Texans fan, this is in your division. Jaguar left tackle Cam Robinson is facing a multiple game suspension for violating the PED policy in the NFL. They're looking for the B sample before they give him the punishment, but he could be looking at 2, 6, or 8 games. That's Trevor Lawrence's left tackle there, Zay, that's going to miss some games. That's big.
Yeah, very unfortunate because the Jags got a lot of promise this year with Calvin Ridley, where they were beating the Chargers last year. They were very close in that game against Kansas City. You knew Kansas City was going to win it in the playoffs, but they made them work for it. So this might hurt them a little bit.
Also, the update, if you missed it, Texas baseball at TCU. They're still trying to figure out times, but they're looking to go Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Keep it right here on the Horn. We'll let you know when those games will be played. And if you missed it from women's basketball, Haley Van Lith is going to LSU. Wow. That they just became the most loved and hated team in America in women's hoops.
I can't wait.
Holy moly.
I don't think I've ever said I can't wait for women's college basketball. I can't wait.
It's going to be a team to check out. There's no doubt about it. I'm going to grab that schedule and see when they're coming to College Station.
Right?
I guarantee you that. All right, Zay, tonight, Boston, Atlanta. Did the Celtics get it done?
Unfortunately, yeah.
You want to see 7.
I do.
This is in Atlanta, though. They're going to have to go win on Ice Trey's home floor.
Yeah, they better step up and play because they kicked Janet Jackson out. She was supposed to perform tonight. It's supposed to be her concert. This is Janet Jackson. Control. Red Nation. She's serious. So if you're going to kick her out, Hawks, y'all better do something tonight.
Yeah, if you're going to sideline that smile and that talent, that voice, that show, you better mean it.
Better mean it.
It better be good. It better be worth it.
Yeah, because we know there's a possibility you could see a Biddy that night, too.
Oh, man. Then you really have a show. All right, Zay, finally, throw your prediction out. Bijan Robinson, where's it going to be?
Bijan Robinson will be a Los Angeles Charger.
Oh, I'd love that. I would love that. At 21?
Yeah.
It's going to go all the way to 21.
I'm just throwing it out. I don't know.
You went a little Dusty Baker on that a little bit. I'm not sure about that now. You had a little Baker
Who
on
knows
that.
where Bijan gonna go? All I know, I got my toothpick.
Ooh, I just don't want the man to wear green. Call me selfish. Call me a selfish Cowboys fan. I don't want him to wear green. We'll see if Bijan ends up going somewhere. We'll talk about all of it tomorrow. Rod and Harge coming up from Pluckers, the Link location. Get out to Pluckers tonight. We'll see you at the draft party. Be safe out there tonight. Get home safely tonight. See ya.